ones. Hello, noble ones. If you liked the music, yeah, people seem to like the music. Let me tell you where it's from. So I use it usually on Twitch, but I decided why not. So it's Dark Omen, Warhammer Dark Omen PlayStation 1. Thank you. That's what it is. We have been playing a lot of Warhammer lately on both Twitch and my gaming channel Metatron's Protectorate. So here we are. Welcome, welcome, noble ones. Man, the topic. Man, the topic. Hello on Twitch. We are multi-streaming right now. Hello on YouTube. Who have we got? Daxfile. Of course we've got Daxfile. St. Nicholas, the Titan Bro, usual Twitch supporters. Thank you very much. Great to have you here. Hello, Kortova, Kinder Cardinal, and Armor Steves. So good to have you here, guys. And on YouTube, we've got plenty of people. Plenty of noble ones. Hello, hello. Music goes hard, says Sumiru. Absolutely. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, you did make it in time. We are here. Eye of the Watcher. And hello, 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 Lazy Eyes, good to have you here. Vamos says Gaston Medici, nice surname right there. Bromsley says, I want to hear his opinion on this. Oh, great, because I got a lot to say. I love it how there is already... Where are you? Where are you? I can see you right there. Where the heck did you go? 1 second. Tyler, hello. Hello, Tyler. Hello, James. Hello, Pedro. I thought I saw something a second ago, but I was messing around with the music. Let me see. Eye of the Tiger. Oh yeah, keep milking the culture war. Yes, so original. People want to know. The world doesn't revolve around you, mate. People want to hear my opinion. If you don't, you can click away. But if people want to hear my opinion, they are here. I'm happy to deliver. I'm happy to deliver. Not to mention, you know, I've lived in Japan. I speak the language. Yeah. I think I want to add my own. Thank you so much, Thomas Kennedy, for gifting 5 Metatron memberships. I really appreciate that, Thomas. Thank you so much. How are you doing today? Metatron asks Vords Games. Very well, thank you. Very well. Barack Miller says hello. Hello to you. Lord Byron. Man, that's a name. Hi to you. No, I haven't played Assassin's Creed Shadows. I don't own it. So today we're just going to talk about a little bit what we're going to watch some things, we're going to read some articles, we're going to discuss some stuff, but no, I don't own it. Honestly, I'm not interested in supporting Ubisoft in any way, shape or form, so they're not going to see $1 from me. With that being said, if they start giving it out for free, I might play it. So there is that. I've never been a fan of Ubisoft, by the way. I've been angry at Ubisoft since Heroes of Might and Magic, so no one can tell me, oh, you're just doing this for political and cultural war reasons. No, sir. I've been pissed at Ubisoft for years and years because of Heroes of Might and Magic. So they're not getting $1 from me. But yeah, that's where we are. So no, I haven't played it. I apologize for that. Now, given if I decided to make a full-on review and historical analysis, but mostly like a review of the gameplay and stuff like that about the game, that would be the only occasion in which I would have to buy it, because I don't want to review a game that I don't play. I have done it before in the past, but every time I do it, then I think, yeah, I know, but that makes it superficial, so maybe. But as of now, I don't want to give him $1, so that's where we are. Yeah, it's a good point, Crack Punch. I think some people do use this as a pretext to sort of attack people on their opposite side, because the attacks are coming from both sides, and we'll review a few. I was attacked because of my videos about Yasuke, even videos that were produced because I started speaking about Yasuke years before this. Because it's a historical character that I had studied, of course. I have proof. I've got a video from 4 years ago, at least. And so, yeah, I didn't start speaking about it because of the culture war. But since the culture war is a thing and now everyone is an expert on Japanese anthropology, not to mention language and history, you know, I kind of want to speak about it too then. It's one of those things, isn't it? Hey, Skill, thank you for being a member for 5 months. Greetings from Norway. It's midnight over here. Really, man, Norway sounds like a really cool place. Thank you, Sir Trior on Twitch for subscribing with Prime. And thank you, Eduardo, still on Twitch, 2118, for subscribing with Prime. Man, I really, really appreciate when you guys use your Prime subscription. Really, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Because there are so many good streamers on Twitch that you could use that for. So I really appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah. Appreciate that. Eye of the Watcher. Thank you very much. Aloha from Hawaii. Wow, Pirate Princess. Very cool, very cool. Never been to Hawaii. Be nice to visit it. Metatron want to 1v1 me in Total War. I wish I had the time, mate. I don't have the time to start a 1v1 anyone who challenges me, because that would take the entirety of my production career. Yeah. Let me see. But yeah, I have a lot of points. In fact, I wrote down some of the points because there is a lot that we can talk about when it comes to the whole situation with the controversy surrounding Assassin's Creed Shadows. Now, I did put as a title the whole situation with the Prime Minister allegedly speaking about it. So that's one thing we will cover, as that's the most recent news, I believe 2 days ago. So we'll see what he had to say and whether we agree or not. But in general, we could say that there are plenty of Japanese people that are not happy with what's being represented in Assassin's Creed Shadows. Now, before I can say I agree with what this person is saying or I disagree, I have to review the claims. But I think one thing that we cannot take away from the Japanese is to have an opinion on their own damn culture and history. I think we can't take that away from anyone, right? If it's an American and someone is, in a way, disrespecting, now we have to qualify that word, and I will, because some people are, I will. But if someone is disrespecting American history and culture, and they are saying that, I don't know, Benjamin Franklin didn't exist, or they're changing stuff, I think it's fine. If Americans are like, hey, I'm not okay with that, I'm not going to go and point the finger against Americans. As an Italian, you know me, I've been really, really adamant when it comes to, oh, you change the history of my country, I'm going to make 15 videos about it. In fact, I'm going to make 15 series about it. I've always doing that. So I believe I'm in no position now to go and tell the Japanese, no, you have to shut up and take it. Can we? Really? Regardless of what position you may have in your political ideas or in the culture war, doesn't matter. That's your own freedom, and we can discuss a lot of things. But I think one thing we can't do is to tell the Japanese that they can't say anything. If something bothers, and it doesn't have to be the Black Samurai, that's something we can discuss. But Japanese, I've been making videos, several Japanese creators, might watch one today, in fact. Several Japanese creators were complaining about how Japan was represented, how some things looked Chinese, not Japanese. There are a lot of things that the Japanese did not like. And I know it's a game, UL, but let me respond to that, because you actually bring up, by contrasting with what I'm saying, you're actually introducing one of my topics. So I appreciate that. I always appreciate people, whether you agree with me or not. But let's discuss that. It's just a game. Okay. Let's talk about the shrines, because that's one of the main arguments, one of the main aspects that I would like to address today. Let's talk about the shrines, the Shinto shrines. Am I a Shinto practitioner? No, I'm not. I don't believe in Shintoism in the sense that I'm not someone who practices Shinto. You know, I've already said this multiple times. I think this is public knowledge. I'm a Christian. I have lived in Japan for 4 years. I've always been extremely respectful to both Buddhism and Shinto. I've been with Japanese friends to many Shinto shrines. When we would go, what they do is that they take this water, they wash their hands because it's a form of purification, and then they go in front of these bells. Usually you got 3 bells. You put some money, you put like a coin and kind of do a little donation, and then what they do is that they pull the bell. The bell makes a sound. Then they put their hands like this and they clap them 3 times. Okay? That's what they do. And then they offer a prayer. I've been with Shinto practitioners like that. I've been with regular Japanese people also, because Japanese religion and culture and philosophy is different from the West. In a Western perspective, we have this idea, oh, well, I'm a Christian, and then you have all the or I'm an atheist, and then you have all the subcategories. Yeah, but I'm a Protestant, or I'm a Roman Catholic, or I'm a Jehovah's Witness, or I'm a Mormon, or I'm a, you have all the different Methodist, Baptist. Usually, if you're a Protestant, you can't be a Catholic, and that sort of situation. In Japan, you can go to both Buddhist and Shinto shrines. If you follow the Shinto tradition, it doesn't preclude you from also going to a Buddhist temple, for instance. There are doctrinal differences, absolutely. There are people that take it very seriously and they are like, no, I'm a Buddhist. But there are also people that kind of do both, and I've met a lot. They do it more as a tradition. And whenever I would go, I was very respectful. I would go with the people. I respect it as a sacred place, even though to me, right, it's a different thing. Now, how do I connect that with the game? Well, some Japanese, a lot of Japanese, in fact, are offended by the fact that as you play with Yasuke, the Black Samurai, you can go into these shrines, and whether he's a samurai or not is a whole different discussion that we can approach again later. But you can go into the shrine and destroy everything. You can annihilate everything, kill everyone in there, attack the people, attack the priests, I think. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, you can destroy the entire thing. I wouldn't like it if I would be a hypocrite if I told you, well, who cares? It's just a shrine. Yeah, but would I be happy if you could do that in a video game with a Christian church? If you could destroy and cut in pieces the cross with Jesus, with the statue of Jesus? If you could wreak havoc and destroy, I don't know, places that to me hold an importance, I wouldn't be happy about that. So at the same time, I will defend the Japanese if they are offended by the shrine being disrespected and being destroyed. Same with them. Tell me what video games allows you to go, even including in the Assassin's Creed genre, plenty of medieval cities. I don't remember, and please correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember a single Assassin's Creed that allows you, when you are in Venice or in Florence in the Middle Ages, to destroy the churches in there. Someone is mentioning Valhalla. That's an interesting point. Although then again, if you don't allow the monastery is kind of different though than the sacred objects. But if in Valhalla they allow you to attack the monks, it's the history of actually what happened. We can pinpoint that because that's a very interesting comeback for the debate that you're bringing up. I don't know why you wrote it in all caps, but whatever. But still, I don't remember you being able to destroy mosques in Muslim countries in video games and disrespect everything they've got. And I don't remember being able to destroy synagogues. In fact, specifically in the Jewish context, in The Last of Us 2, you can't even shoot your weapon as Ellie, when you enter a Jewish synagogue. So the idea of respecting something that is culturally and traditionally important to a people has always been in video games. So I wonder, I don't think there is anything wrong that the Japanese are complaining about it. Let me read your comebacks, because some of you are presenting very interesting. I'm here to discuss. I'm not here to be like, I'm going to tell you. No, I'm here to listen to your words as well. Well, or not, because Vinny says you're just wrong. Great, thank you for that. That kind of proves that I think I may be into something right. So Vinny says again in the screen, he says it says it's a work of fiction. Vinny, you can't use that because specifically, and I'll tell you why that doesn't work in this debate. Because the creator said this is a great way to learn Japanese history. They said that they pushed the historicity of this game, and it's the first game where Yasuke is a real historical character, and there are plenty of interactions with real historical characters. But they specifically pushed. I watched it. This is not something I read. I watched the Ubisoft developers and their historians, and they said, oh yeah, Assassin's Creed is a fantastic way to learn the history and culture of Japan. So now you can't use it's a work of fiction. If they hadn't pushed that, and they did. If they hadn't pushed that, and they said, no, it's loosely based on history, but guys, of course it's loosely based. There is a freaking going back in time. There is the sci-fi aspect of it. But they said it was a great way to learn, to actually learn. I'm going to ban Vinny, though, because he just called us grifters. No, then you're banned. You're not here to discuss then. Hide this user from this channel. Gone. But as I say, if you have to choose, you can't have both. You can't have, what's the expression? Maybe you can help me with that. You can't have drunken wife and you can't have the cake and eat it too. There's an expression like that in this. So yeah, there is that. These are at least just some of the points that I would like to raise today to have an interesting discussion with you and see what you guys think. Let me see a bit of your things, of your ideas. Let me see. Let's see. Yeah, it's a good point. Ilya says, I see where you're coming from, but it's not like it's an objective. You mean to destroy the shrine. Oh, yeah, of course. And to be fair, the game seems to incentivize being respectful in shrines because you can pray. I haven't played it, so you'll have to confirm this and double check it. But I was told that you can pray at the shrines and gain some experience points. So in theory, if instead of destroying everything, you pray and you're respectful, you have an incentive to do that. So that's just to be fair and say they did add this. Still, I understand why the Japanese see that and don't like it, because I wouldn't like it again. Not even with the idea of, for instance, you're fighting the Templars. Okay, so the Templars, there is a connection with historical Templars, there is a connection with religious, that doesn't bother me. But if I could burn a statue of Christ on the cross, that would be too far. So I think there is also, and that you could tell me, but that's subjective. I know we are discussing the subjective opinion of the Japanese people. And that's my point. My point isn't that you cannot find an area of argumentation whereby you could say, but to me, that's not a big deal. That's absolutely sure. Maybe it's not a big deal for you. Fine, buy the game, play it. But I'm saying I can understand why some, at least Japanese, but it seems like it's quite a bit, are annoyed by it. And I'm trying to be not hypocritical, because if I said, guys, it doesn't matter, but then it would matter to me for the Christian stuff, then I'm not being fair. Then I'm being, sort of, when it's a double standard at that point. It's a double standard. Let's see some other things. So interesting. Wavo says, and then I'll read a few on Twitch as well. Don't know if this is a hot take, but I think all of Assassin's Creed games are slop. I don't know, man. The first one I liked. I liked the first one because it was one of the first games that allowed you to do parkour. This is before Mirror's Edge time, and it's third-person parkour anyway, so it's kind of a different approach. I'm a huge fan of Mirror's Edge. I finished it on stream on my gaming channel from beginning to end, finished the whole thing. But I was saying, so the first one was pretty good, plus the 10 plus graphically was impressive, because we're talking 360 times and PlayStation 3. Assassin's Creed 2, I thought it was good. Did you guys like... I didn't really play Black Flag. I started it, installed it, and uninstalled it. I actually liked Odyssey. I liked how Athens and Sparta, and particularly Athens, was represented. I know some people hated it because it was different from previous Assassin's Creed. So I wouldn't say all Assassin's Creeds are slop. I didn't play Valhalla though. What do you guys think of Valhalla? Oh yeah, Ravnen asked a question that leads us to the next point. The shrine that is being destroyed, particularly one of the shrines that you can destroy, is a real shrine. It's real. It's a real place in Japan. And so this also connects to another problem that the Japanese, because we also have to understand certain reactions occur within a context. They don't just happen out of nothing. And you know about the situation with the IRL streamer phenomenon that happened in Japan and in Korea, specifically like in the wake of the likes of Johnny Somali and that horrible thing that some streamers do, that they're just nuisance. They are harassing people. They go to, I don't know why they target Japan, maybe because the Japanese are polite, because if you try that stuff in America, you'll find out, I guess, F around and find out. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But Japanese, very polite people. And then if you try it in Sicily, you might piss off the wrong person belonging to a certain organization which begins with an M and finishes with Afia. Maybe that's why they don't do this. And they go to Japan because they're polite and they're nice people. They're very like that. Maybe that's why. But a lot of streamers have been absolutely terrible, like harassing people, destroying private property, destroying public property, attacking, causing trouble just for views, right? Because unfortunately, social media platforms reward this behavior while they shouldn't. You know, I'm a massive proponent of freedom of speech, but this is kind of different. It's not freedom of speech at that point. If you attack people and harass them and then you gain a monetary reward from it from these platforms, it's a problem, and it's also counterproductive when it comes to the youth, specifically as a target audience. That's even worse. But so the idea is, it seems like some Japanese officials are, in the wake of the IRL streamer phenomenon, they think that this game, since it's controversial and now everybody watches it and lots of people see it, might inspire some actual damage and property damage in this real shrine that you see, because you could destroy it in the game, so they are afraid, what if some of these crazy streamers start doing this because now it's going to get them the views. This has been raised as a problem, and I think it's a serious problem that should be considered. Absolutely, because these streamers, oh my gosh, I cannot stand this kind of people, that's the type of farming views. The ones that were calling me a grifter a second ago, or us, we could say. Why don't you go complain about those? Those are the problem, not people that are sharing their own opinions on their own platform and also trying to be fair, right? I'm here to listen to you. I'm not just here to tell you, oh, this is the... No, I do that with sources and history, but here I'm just here to listen and discuss. These are my opinions. I've had time to think about it, but if you can change my mind, because you present an excellent counter-argument, I'm more than happy to address that. There are a few super chats. We'll check them out in a second. Let me see how things are doing on Twitch. I am looking at Twitch chat. It's just trying to do a little by little, little left, little right. So Cortova says his trial was in Korea. Yeah, he's Johnny Somali is gonna do some jail time, and I say good riddance. So yeah, exactly. Saint Nicholas says hitting people and breaking stuff is a crime. Absolutely, it's not a freedom. Exactly, it's a crime. It is a crime, for sure. It's another very good question from Twitch. Ishi8 says, is it true that you may need special permission to use some locations such as the shrine in your video game? When it comes to AAA companies, I think so. We would have to actually ask an actual developer if they can explain to us how that works, but it seems like that they have had problems already before because they were using some banners and that were specifically belonged to a reenactment company, and they didn't ask for permissions, and they literally copy pasted them into the game, and they got backlash for it. I don't know. There are so many problems. Like, I understand cutting corners. I never fault the artist. I never fault the 3D artist. I never fault the music designer, other than, again, the music on this game. But it's the suits that control the reins. So I don't have a problem with the person that is there writing the code. I have a problem with this sort of behavior because, yeah, in that case, I'm not saying maybe use them, but give them a shout out. I don't know, mention them, since you literally copy pasted that. So when it comes to the shrine, since it's, I don't know, is it public property? Is it private property since it belongs to? I don't know if they need to ask for permission, but it's one of the things that has been raised as well as the problems. So there is that. Let me see. All right, so let me have a look at here. We've got some super chats. I don't want to be, now that we are talking about being respectful and being disrespectful, I don't want to be disrespectful to people that are supporting the stream. And man, there is a lot. Okay, thank you guys. So it's Hampel, thank you for the donation, €5. The really worrying issue is that a non-historian such as Thomas Lockley could be taken so seriously and his theories treated as gospel so easily. Yeah, but that one is gone, like his book has been debunked anyways. I myself, even though I made a video that some of you got annoyed with me, and I get it, and I said, guys, maybe let's not harass his family and let's not try to find his wife, but I did say I disagree with his book and the whole situation of Oda Nobunaga. I did say this publicly for some reason. reason people pretended I didn't. But yeah, no, his whole thing about the love relationship between Oda Nobunaga and Yasuke is complete, pure, utter fiction. And the whole situation whereby Oda Nobunaga called Yasuke his black angel, that doesn't exist. Like it's not a book of history. And I think that's gone now. I don't think it's gonna sell any more books that way. I don't know, honestly. I haven't kept touch with the Thomas Lockley situation. We exchanged one email when I told him I was making a video about it, and he said, I don't know, I don't want to watch it for now. And then he said, I'll get back to you. He never did. So I don't know. I don't even know if he's alive at this point, but I think he must have left Japan. Daniel Looney, what BS is going on? Or people just making me hate them more than I do now? Just 100% PTSD vet. What is going on? Ooh. Yeah, no, we're talking about a few situations. There are some controversies around Ubisoft as a company, and specifically this game, also because of some position that Ubisoft took when it comes to the historicity of the game. And one of the things that I have several notes. I want to finish the super chats, but I have several notes. There are some things that happen in the game that are not historical. And the problem is that they didn't say this game is just only loosely based. They said this game is a great opportunity to learn the real history of Japan. If you make this statement with a historian, with a talking head that tells you that, and then a lot of the stuff that you do in the game is ahistorical, you are calling in for the people who are then going to tell you, wait, I thought this was a great way to learn the history of Japan. Now, how strictly we can approach this, matter of debate. It's still a game. It doesn't have the documentary logo. That's where I would have gone full force like I have with Cleopatra and Netflix. If you don't put documentary, I'm gonna be a little more relaxed. Okay, so this is not Metatron full force like I did in that case. This is, well, you did say that. So is it historical? And then I go and check it. That's how I'm approaching this. Okay, I try to go with degrees of, several degrees, but we'll view a few of these. Good evening from Adrian Swall. Love the channel. Thank you, Halfdar. Appreciate that. Echo Wolf, thank you for the donation. I think making historical fiction and taking liberties when doing that is completely fine. In general, I would agree with the sentiment. It only becomes a problem when someone creates fiction and pretends it's factual. I absolutely agree with you. 100%. So last call, the member for 5 months, Yasuke was a real human being who deserves to be respected. Absolutely. Yep, I cannot fault your logic there. Higashi Martial Arts, good friend of the channel. How you doing? Meta Otskare, about to listen to Steam on my jog. Oh, good stuff. Yeah, enjoy your jog. Be careful out there. OC Slash, thank you for the donation. How do you feel about Mafia, the old country taking place in Sicily? I'm very excited about it. I'm really excited about it. I just hope that they represent the Sicilian language right, if they choose to go that route. Or if they just have them all speak English and I have to pretend that they are Sicilian, I can do that too. But if Sicilian is being used, I would really like it. So I'm very happy for that. And when the game comes out, I'm 100% playing it on my Twitch. Ali, thank you for the donation. Nobody wants to buy the game anyway. I don't know. How is it going with the sales, guys? Do you guys know? Are people still buying it? Are people not buying it? I don't really know. Nordisk says the Metatron is speaking facts. I appreciate that, and thanks for the support. Captain Lamp 2.0, do you think the likes of Johnny Somali will be brave enough to try the rubbish in Russia? Not in Russia, not in Sicily, not in America, not in any other country that is not Japan. Not even China. It's not even a thing of Asia. Could you imagine Johnny Sonali pulling off that stuff in China? No way. He went for Japan and then that specific area of Korea for a reason, but the Koreans are not having any of it. The Koreans are not having any of it. The Nut House, thank you for the donation. I would love to interview you about mud flood theory. Sure, absolutely. We could talk about it. I'm preparing actually 2 videos on the flood. You know, my sort of literal interpretation and cultural and historical analysis of certain biblical aspects. I have a whole series about it. The next is going to be on the flood, although I have another episode also as a spin-off of my episode dedicated to Adam and Eve, in the sense that I made a video on Adam and Eve, an entire video on Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, or Gan Eden. I want to now make a video of Adam and Eve outside of the Garden of Eden, and it's in the making. But eventually I'll talk about the flood in general, but the mud flood theory would be something I would love to talk about too. Norm, thank you for the donation, Norm Al. If Japan returns to isolationism because of this, I wouldn't mind. Oh yeah, the Sakoku, the chain country. So long as we still get One Piece, of course. Well, no, I don't think that innocent tourists should be penalized because of the actions of absolute idiots. I think absolute idiots should be penalized by their actions. So I'm always a person who says, let's differentiate between people that are horrible. Yeah, if a person goes to any country and brings hatred towards that country and harasses the people, kick them out. Kick them out. Kick them out. And if they are doing criminal stuff, then yeah, absolutely use the full force of the law. But if people go there and they're tourists and they love the country, they're doing nothing wrong, no, I don't think those people should be penalized. Doesn't matter where they're from, by the way. The Ghost, thank you for the donation. I also dislike people calling historians woke because they do give a fair argument for Yasuke being a samurai. Yeah, I get called Yasuke. Sorry, no, I don't get called Yasuke. I retake that. But I get called. I want to show you a comment that I got recently simply because I said that whether Yasuke was a samurai or not, I side, after all the study I've done, I lean on him not being a samurai because I think it is more probable that he wasn't. With that being said, I also keep an open mind with the possibility that he may have been a retainer. He was a retainer, we know that. We know that he was carrying weapons, and that was a position of honor, so I also debunk the people that say he was just a slave. No, there is no reason. At that point, you're not being fair. You're just writing out of emotions. And I keep a possibility simply because he was giving a stipend, and so I'm like, I'll leave a small window to say maybe. Unfortunately, we don't have enough data to be conclusive and categorical, and that's my position. I lean towards him not being samurai, but still having a position of honor at the court of Oda Nobunaga. I think that's the most reasonable position, particularly if you can read the sources in Japanese, and you can kind of pinpoint the kanji and the way they are used for both the payment of stipend, but also for the position of someone who carries weapons, which usually was a position that was relegated for either people who were samurai or people who were going to become samurai. So aka a similar equivalent to a Western squire, which I believe the Japanese use the term koe, if I'm not wrong. I'll have to double check the term because this is kind of an older Japanese term. So yeah, no, for sure. I get called woke simply because I don't categorically state, guys, he was just a slave. No, I'm never going to say that because the data does not push the idea that he was no one. He was someone that had a certain position in Japan. Now, whether he was samurai or not, it is absolutely something we can debate. And as I say, I lean towards no. Definitely, though, even if we was given, this is one thing that I want to say in connection to Assassin's Creed. And then I'll read more chat, guys. I'm not ignoring you. On both sides. Even if he was given the title of samurai, let's say that Oda Nobunaga did that because he's like, hey, I'm using him as my bodyguard, big guy. I want to call him samurai because I like doing that. I like Western stuff, whatever. I like the Portuguese, because he's the guy who let them build churches. He does that. Even if he did that, there is no reason to believe that Yasuke would be someone who fights like a samurai in samurai armor. And that's what Assassin's Creed is representing. Now that, I don't think there is any reason to believe that whatsoever. Maybe he knew how to fight, but he wouldn't fight like a Japanese. You can see that he does the Yaido, putting in the sword also in a kind of an anachronistic way, because the way he moves kind of makes him more look like samurai arts in the period of peace rather than samurai art in the Sengoku period, but this is a nitpick on my side. He does fight exactly like you would imagine a samurai fight, and he wears samurai armor. There's no reason to believe either of those two things, if we have to look at this while being fair about it. All right. The silver, what's your name? 1 second. The silver jacket man. Just as an interesting note, AC1 caught a fair amount of heat for depictions of Crusaders. Hashishin. Oh, yeah, the Assassin's Creed 2 turned the Borgias into mini Hitlers, which is also historically dubious. Sure, cool. Yeah, great. Then if they got slack for it, I don't remember that, but also I wasn't a YouTuber at the time, so maybe I didn't look into it, but thank you for bringing it up. All right. Then we have, let me see. Peter K. Why didn't Italy have a problem with Italy? You mean with Da Vinci making weird gadgets for Ezio in Assassin's Creed 2 because Ubisoft didn't try to gaslight people as if it's authentic? Exactly. Yeah, that's exact. That's a fantastic way to say it. Exactly. They're not saying you're studying the real history of Italian Renaissance with us, and we are gonna do that, and then you show. Yeah, that's good point. Bear Knight, hail, congrats on 969,000 subs. I found you years ago. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. I don't even know how that happened, to be honest. Abdullah Al Bahar, thank you for the donation. How do Sicilians pronounce Sicily? We say, it depends on where you're from in Sicily. I'll give you three options. You can say Sicilia, where the C is pronounced with a ch sound, Sicilia. This is kind of the standard Italian way of pronouncing it. Some Sicilians use it. Sicilians in my area, so kind of northwest, tend to pronounce the C in this position as a sh. So we'll say Sicilia, Sicilia. That's how my mom used to pronounce it, for instance. So that is also a pronunciation with an accent. And then some people that live more like in the south of Sicily, areas like Agrigento and that area right there, pronounce the C like a G. So they'll say Sigilia like a G. These are the three possibilities. Hi Yasuke says Clint. Man, you're being so generous. It's gonna take me some time to go through the super chats, but we'll get back to it. I'll scroll back up to read what you guys have been saying. Red Nook, thank you for the donation. Where paisan in Neapolitan. How much do you think racism plays a role in discussions like was Yasuke a real samurai? Do you think both sides have a valid point? I think some people absolutely use the historical aspect of it as a shield to push an actual racist agenda, but I think they're a fragment, and I think it's also wrong on the other side when people accuse you of racism just because on the half chance that maybe you saying, guys, I don't know about the historical accuracy of this, and then they're like, oh, you must be racist. So yeah, when you ask both sides have a valid point, in this case I would say both sides can be full of it. But at the end of the day, I always say innocent until proven guilty. So unless someone is actually saying stuff that is real racist, and they say I don't want to see black people anywhere on screen, I don't care, that's a racist statement. But unless they are saying that, if people are saying, well, if I set an Assassin's Creed in Africa, I wouldn't want to see a white guy. I want to see an African protagonist. So Assassin's Creed is set in Japan. I think it's nice to see a Japanese. Yeah, that's not a racist statement. You can't just point the finger and say racist. At the same time, though, yeah, I would be unreasonable if I didn't admit that some people are racist. I have seen people spam the N-word under Assassin's Creed Shadows trailer. Yeah, those are racist. So there is a bit of both, isn't there? Echo says making fiction about another culture is fine, I think, if you show that you respect that culture and don't misuse and misrepresent them for your agenda. I agree. And we'll talk about the agenda in a little bit. Oxus Prime, slightly off topic, but will you cover Mesoamerican civilization like Incas and Mayas? I have already a couple of times. It's not a focus of my channel, but I have a few videos. And so it is something that I enjoy touching upon, yes. The Ghost, for the people calling me woke, I never said that I believe Yasuke was a samurai. I said that it is unfair to call historians woke when they bring fair points to the table. Absolutely. It's wrong. Just like it's wrong to say homophobic, racist, white supremacist, which, by the way, I collect all of those, Nazi, fascist. It's also wrong to overuse woke. At this point, if you watching now, I know exactly you, right? You are an anti-woke. Great. Attack woke. Don't attack everyone, because otherwise you're doing the same thing that people that call everyone a fascist, me included, by the way. It happened recently from another content creator, and I'm preparing the strongest counter debunking video that you will ever see. I'll make the whole system shake, because he called me a fascist, and it really, really, I'm taking it personal for reasons that I'll explain later maybe on this. So yeah, good point, The Ghost. I don't think you're woke, if that helps. Mihoville P, do you think that a lot of outrage is fake? In AC2, for example, you were destroying Catholic churches and Pope was the main bad guy and fought him. About the Pope being the main bad guy, I think even Catholics can recognize, even fervent Catholics can recognize that some of the popes of the past were doing some stuff. I mean, there were multiple popes self-excommunicating each other. The figure of the Pope is a historical figure, and we can discuss it. And I think there is nothing wrong in using them in the correct. It's like I wouldn't be offended as a Christian, and I was brought up Roman Catholic. Most of my family is Catholic. Not all of my family is Catholic. I've got people belonging. Like I have got one uncle who is clearly a Protestant, even though he won't use the term. Maybe he would be like a Methodist, perhaps. I don't know. Yeah, I've got people of all sorts of, between friends and family, if we go extended family, all sorts of types. But yeah, no, that wouldn't offend me, but anything against Christ would offend me. So it kind of depends. It kind of depends. Good point, though. Good point. I don't know. Could you destroy the churches, though? I don't know. I don't remember that, to be honest. And whether some of the outrage is fake, yes, some of the outrage is absolutely used for clickbait. The creepy archives will, particularly those who have never studied Japanese history ever, and now they are becoming anthropologists all of a sudden, or linguists speaking about kanji and stuff like that. Then some of that might be fake. The creepy archives, will we make a video on Assassin's Creed Shadow in the future? I have already several, and I have. Oh, you mean the game? Maybe we'll see. And then not. Thank you for the donation. Love the way you took a stand on Cleopatra, and I always will. This is one thing, so I'm gonna revert back to full chat now, both Twitch and YouTube, so I can read everyone. One thing that I can tell you, I will never apologize for that. You know how YouTubers sometimes, they do that? They say something, then they get backlash. And not just YouTubers, but famous actors and people, I want to apologize for what I said. Never gonna happen. Never gonna. The only time I would make a video is if you bring me real evidence that says Cleopatra was African 100%. Then I'll make a video, say, guys, I was wrong. But I still wouldn't apologize. I wouldn't apologize because considering what we have now, it is the most sensible position to say that Cleopatra was Greek. So never going to apologize for it. Never going to do it. So there is that. All right. So let's see what we've got here. Lots of questions, lots of comments. We're doing great. We're doing great. Fantastic chat. Yeah, Dee says there is racism everywhere. It's a shield to protect this game from actual valid criticism now. And talking about that, it seems like they're starting to censor critique, which to me is a problem. We'll talk about it in a little bit. Because if critique is fair and it's not harassment, you should not be censored. It's nonsense. It would be like me removing comments just because people disagree with me. Let's see. They didn't even bother to show any of the things we historically know happened with Yasuke. I haven't played the game, so I don't know if you're right or wrong with this, but if that's the case, then yeah, that's nonsense. They should have done it. Will you continue your Shogun critiques? At the moment, no, because those two videos took me so much time to produce. The first one did really well, but the second one completely flopped, and the algorithm didn't push it, and it has a cost, the production. So at the moment, no. Unless, I don't know, maybe if it gets Patreon funded, like my Patreon specifically say, no, we want part 3, and then in that case, I suppose. Yeah, Crab even says I'm anti-woke, and I agree with that message. There you go. Great. Then I have no problems with you. If people start calling everything woke, then I have a problem with it. It's one of those things. It's balanced. It's balanced. The Ainu in this game, that's a very good question, LK. Does anyone know? Because I don't know how to answer that question, but if you guys know, it would be cool if the Ainu were in the game. Truth-leaning. Oh yeah, I'm truth-centric. 100%. Yeah, Empu says, just because you're from there doesn't make you a Mussolini enthusiast. No, my family, my grandfather stood against the fascists, how? Not because he wasn't like a counter-revolution, like a revolutionary or anything like that, but my grandfather was a major corporal in the army, specifically in the Mountain Artillery Corps, and he refused to join the fascist movement. So they stamped his personal booklet with, I spoke about this on Twitter, on X, with a stamp that says he's anti-fascist. And he said, all right, fine, then I'm an anti-fascist. And then after in 1943, on the 8th of September, when there was the armistice, where Italy stated on the radio that they were stopping to fight against the Allies. The Nazi invaded northern Italy, didn't they, historically? And they rounded up anyone whom they thought would have been an anti-fascist, and that included my grandfather, who was deported into the concentration camp in, what's the name? It's like super famous. I'm sure you're gonna say it before I finish clicking it. It's a super famous concentration camp. They had like 60,000 people in it. Let me see if I can tell you the exact name, because I have it. This is family history. My dad tells me about this all the time. Not Auschwitz, Dachau. Yep, Dachau, you're right, Piros. He was sent to Dachau. He was there for 2 years until the 26th of April 1945, when the Allied forces, 29th of April, when the Allied forces liberated the camp and saved my grandfather. But he had PTSD from it. My grandma had to live hell for 2 years, not even knowing if he was alive or dead. So yeah, no, we are not fascists. And it really annoys me at a personal level that someone who is a political commentator and calls himself an anti-fascist then calls me a fascist, even though his anti-fascism is calling everyone a fascist from the comfort of his home as a keyboard warrior, while my family actually stood against it when it was actually dangerous. So yeah, I'll make a reaction. I'm not going to mention the guy now, but I'll make a response video, and it's going to be a strong one. Dachau, yeah, my grandfather was 2 years in Dachau. People in Dachau, I was interested in it. I studied the history for obvious reasons. People in Dachau, the prisoners, they had political prisoners. He was one of these. They had revolutionaries, they had partisans, they had socialists, communists. They put people in there. They had Jews. A lot of people ended up in this camp historically. And he belonged to one of those that were considered to be traitors from the military because he had a position. And people died of the cold, people died of exhaustion, people were executed during the death marches. So I can't even imagine what he went through. But yeah, I'd say that if it wasn't for the American forces saving my grandfather, I'm grateful for that. Absolutely, I'm grateful for that. So there's that. This is real history, absolutely, Beze. Yep. Ooh, interesting. Taylor Washington says, yes, Metatron, you need to look at the news coming out about the structures under the pyramids. Ooh, 2 kilometers deep. 100% I'm going to check that. 100%. Absolutely, I'm going to check that. It's getting really hot. Do you mind? I'm going to turn on the air conditioning and I'll be right back because it's, gosh, it's hot. You know what's really funny to finish that? You know why this creator called me a fascist? He called me a fascist because of the video where I said that people should be allowed to speak their mind freely, freedom of speech. Yeah, typical fascist position, the one that you should have freedom of speech, absolutely. Like the freedom of speech you had to call Benito Mussolini a monster. I'm sure he was like all about that freedom of speech. It wasn't the only thing. Okay, there are a few aspects. I'll do it. I'll do it right. All right, how is Twitch? Odyssey was fantastic. I loved Odyssey. It was fun. The only thing I didn't like is that you had a lot of like DLC stuff that you had to pay for to customize the ship. Like I remember seeing a few of the things and I was like, "Ooh, I want that," but at the time I'm like, I don't want to spend extra money for it. But it was fun. Yep. Brotherhood was good. I heard the Brotherhood was good. I didn't play it. Should I play it, guys? Let me see. Have you played much of KCD2? I kept playing it a little bit offline, but I didn't play it much. I need to continue. I need to resume it so that I can make a better I can have a better idea, because I've heard people saying all sorts of things about this game, and I want to see it. Because now I don't believe, if someone states something, unless they show it, like they did for Dragon Age Veilguard, which was an absolute mockery of what fantasy is. But if, like that, well, like I saw it, okay, I saw the videos. But with KCD2, they mentioned a lot of things. I kind of want to play it a little bit to have an idea. Say Nicholas says 1 million sold. You're talking about Assassin's Creed. Well, then it's not unsuccessful. I mean, or is it? Because I don't know how much money did they spend to make it. Maybe it is unsuccessful, actually, now that I think about it. Well, you'll let me know, I'm sure. I do want to recognize... Man, you guys are on fire tonight with the comments. I'm gonna have to read a lot of these. Oh, players, not sold. Okay, so 1 million players. Is that a lot? Let's see. Saint Nicholas says, Metatron, something I think it's important is how other games you can kill Egypt gods. So if using a shrine is bad, then those games should be, right? Yes, but it's lighter, I think, because I don't think there is anyone who believes or worships the Egyptian gods right now. But there are people that go to shrines, and there are Christians that go to churches, there are Muslims that go to mosques, there are Jews that go... Maybe that makes it a little more... That's why you don't see people complaining about Odin. But you do have a point. I mean, at this point, I would say don't disrespect any of these cultures that way, particularly if... I don't know. It's an interesting point. Maybe we can have different ways to look at it. HFX Pro, thank you for subscribing on Twitch with Prime. Sorry it took me forever to see it, but man, it's getting hot in here. And I also ate some Pringles. Pizza flavor. Just to let you know, I'm getting a little hungry. Oh, yes. Titan Bro presents another one of the things that we're going to talk about. Metatron, did you hear that they made Lady Oichi a love interest of Yasuke in Assassin's Creed Shadow? Yes. So Lady Oichi is Oda Nobunaga's sister, right? And she's a real historical character. There is no reason, of course, it didn't happen, that Yasuke had, that we know of, that Yasuke had a romance relationship with her, yet you could do it in the game. Can a Japanese then say, Ubisoft is rewriting my history? I say yes. I don't think it's wrong for the Japanese to say they are rewriting my history at that point. If it was only that, maybe it's a little light, but if it's too many things, then you can complain about it. And when I say rewriting of history, do remember that, yes, history is constantly rewritten, but when you rewrite it you rewrite history when there is new evidence that tells you what you thought up to this point was wrong. That's when you rewrite history. Nothing against that. It's right. That's how you do it. But if you rewrite history in the sense that you're going to tell me that Metroid, Samus from Metroid was actually Scipio Africanus, it was her, not an actual Roman, then yeah, that's rewriting history. And of course, if you do it for political reason, for pandering, for whatever the heck, for justification, that's the type of rewriting of history that we attack on this channel mercilessly. So yeah, the Oichi thing seems like, and then when we go into the romance section of it, there is something else that I would like to say. But yeah, we'll discuss it. Yeah, I know, Echo Wolf. Freedom of speech, famously the main concept of fascism. Freedom of speech is the first thing that goes. Clip this. Freedom of speech is the first thing that goes when any totalitarian regime gains power. Doesn't matter if it's Stalin with the communists. You think you could go to the Kremlin and say Stalin is an idiot? You think you could do that? Gulag, immediate, if they don't shoot you on sight. Same with the Italian fascists. You couldn't say anything against the government and the Partito Fascista, and same with the Austrian man, the Austrian painter. You couldn't say anything against them because they would come and round you up, as they did. They rounded up everyone that they, apart from rounding up the Jews, but they also rounded up gypsies, they rounded up Roma, they rounded up socialists. That's one thing they did. Actual left-wing, full-on socialists and communists, they rounded up those. They rounded, initially they didn't, but then they changed it and they did that. They rounded up everything. If you complain, if you say I disagree in Germany in 1939, good luck with that. So yeah, it's the first thing that goes. That's why I'm a massive proponent of freedom of speech, because It is a thin line. And we could discuss freedom of speech in ancient Rome, by the way. That's something that they had up to a certain extent. We could discuss it. We got a few super chats. Let me read them so I'm not disrespectful to people. Let me see. Captain Lamp, falsely accusing an Italian of being a fascist is just as horrible as falsely accusing a German of being an Austrian painted sympathizer. There is history behind it that makes it extra offensive. I agree, Captain. I mean, to me, falsely accusing anyone of anything is unjust, right? I wouldn't falsely accuse anyone of anything. But yeah, this one is particularly, you are correct. The Xenoist, there is an article, A Demonstrator's Guide to Body Armor. I don't care for the politics, but I'd be interested in your thoughts on it, since they touch on using medieval armor in the modern protest. Really? I'll look into it. I'm writing it down as a note. Thank you. Norm Allman, thank you for the donation. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the generosity. I've been playing KCD2, and I find how Musa of Mali uses interesting, especially when you consider that Sigismund used him as a disposable prop to put in places which isn't Sigismund's main focus. Thoughts? I haven't played it up to that point. So before I speak about Musa, at this point, for what I saw, if it's all real, okay? If they're not exaggerating it, if it's all real, the way it looks, to me, Musa is an extremely annoying character. It's annoying. Because someone that comes to you and continues, if it's true, if he continuously tells you how much better the situation is back at where he's from and in Mali, and then how Europeans suck, then yeah, I mean, on one hand, I could see that maybe it is something that someone from there would have thought. So maybe it is accurate in that sense. It is possible that, I mean, Muslims and Christians hated each other in the Middle Ages. I mean, even today, it sometimes depends on the person, But back in the day, in the Middle Ages, they really couldn't stand each other. So, yeah, I mean, it's not unrealistic that someone would think that way, but it is a very annoying character. So I hope I can skip all of that. That's my position now. But I don't know, because I haven't played it up to that point. So I want to kind of wait a little bit. The Silver Jacket, okay, time for a serious question. Favorite daimyo from the Sengoku Jidai, it's gonna be Date. For my 2 cents, it's Date Masamune. Yeah, I said it before even seeing it. Yeah, Date Masamune. My samurai armor is based off of Date's armor, sort of. I mean, not exactly, but a little bit. Real serious, thank you for the donation. Who's the preeminent historian of World War II, in your opinion? I just bought Lying About the H-Man by Richard Evans, cause I was getting tired about the rise in Holocaust denialism. Hope it's good. Well, let me know if it's good. I don't know who the prominent is, because the World War II is something that I study at a very amateurish level. It's something that I studied it in high school, I studied it at university a little bit, but my main focus at that point when it comes to the historical credits was ancient Rome, feudal Japan, medieval period. That's where I focused. And so I wouldn't be able to point you to someone and tell you that this is like creme of the creme, the best historian. I don't know. But let me know what you think. The Ghost, thank you for your generosity. Multiple donations today from you. I have a sword that Nobunaga gifted to a retainer called Tani Daizen. Daizen performed Tameshigiri with it in the presence of Nobunaga. 3 bodies. Yeah, the Japanese did do that. You have it? Man, how much did you pay for it? Goodness gracious. Yeah, they did do that, didn't they? They did it on convicted criminals as well, and then they did it as a form of execution, I guess, and testing the blade as well. And then they did it on the bodies, yeah, the dead bodies. It's kind of a dark area of Japanese history when it comes to that. Mihovil P, thank you for the donation. Unfortunately, there are now both, you say woke left and right. I think I like calling them, because usually woke is a term strongly connected with the extreme left, initially no, but woke changed. Like, woke is one of those terms. That's why I don't really use it. I usually just say, I can't stand extremism, I can't stand radicals, that's what I use, because woke is a term that, as a linguist, I actually find very interesting, because it changed. It had, at least in my opinion, it had at least 3 stages. Stage 1 was when people said woke means your eyes are open towards and against social injustice. That's the original meaning of woke. Then it was used by people who started pushing all sorts of nonsense, and they were started like calling everyone racist, 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 and then they sort of identified themselves as woke, which kind of gave it a bad rep. Because if we look at the very original one, if you came to me and you told me, listen, the way I use the term woke is I think that if people are being unjustly treated, then we should be aware of that. I would have no problems with that. Heck, I would call myself woke. But then, because a certain cluster of people, and we know who they are, a certain cluster of activists started being like very toxic about it, woke got a bad term. And now we are in the third stage of woke, which is a weaponized word used usually by right-wing influencers. And they use it to attack the nonsense that is pushed by people on the extreme left. These are the three stages. Correct me if I'm wrong, if you disagree with this, but I'm saying I'm analyzing it as someone who wants to be objective from a linguistic standpoint. And I think, to me, woke now is a mess of a term. And so that's why I choose. You can use it. Feel free to use it. You'll never be blocked. Once again, freedom of speech. You will never be blocked. Use it. I have no problems with it. But I try not to use it because I see it used in so many contextually and semantically different ways. And then again, people call me woke. How could you call me woke? Like, I don't get it. With all the debunking I've done on that side, still people demonstrate that when it becomes tribalism, logics goes out the window. And people make it a matter of emotions. I try as much as I can to leave emotions out. And if people write a comment and it pisses me off, I wait until I'm calm before I reply. That's what I do. But then again, Nero Saber, I don't know if you like musicals, but there is a great musical about the Odyssey called Epic. Cool. I'm not really into musicals, but my wife is. Thank you, A, for the donation. Hey, Metatron, been watching your videos for a few years now. My sister and I love your content and common sense takes. Thanks so much. Trying to keep it real. That's all I'm trying to do. Keep up the good work. I think I've heard you mention playing Civ before. Do you ever stream it? Yes, I do. I have played all Civilization. I started from 1. I played all the way up to 7. I own all of them, including a boxed copy for Amiga 500 of Civilization 1. And I do stream it on my gaming channel, the Metatron's Protectorate, and on Twitch on Metatron Gemini. And I've streamed a little bit of Civ 7. I streamed Civ 6. I am planning on streaming Civ 1 because I am old school like that. But say hello to your sister as well from me. Thank you. Wings of Shu, thank you for the donation. What Rome and other polytheistic beliefs call their faith? Is there a better word to use? No, I think polytheism is a good way to describe it. Modern day just call them gods. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Deus is the term the Romans used for a god. So I think that's that. If you want to use the Latin word. And although usually Deus now is used in the Christian sense. The Romans used other terms if we really go back in time. Just trying to think if I can think of any. But usually they call them by name, by the way. But yeah, I'll think if I can think of a better answer to that. Might round back to it. Peter K, thank you. Freedom of speech is better destroyed now through cancel culture, which is no different than the self-censorship the USSR enforced over here. Yeah, sure, absolutely. Yeah, I hate all forms of cancel culture. For me, I'm not a freedom of speech absolutist. I'll tell you what that means. But I'm absolutely within the law, and since I live in America, within the exceptions that are written in the First Amendment, I strongly support freedom of speech in all of its forms that are connected to the legal enforcement of freedom of speech. The reason why I don't go as far as being considered an absolutist of freedom of speech is because, yes, there are some forms of speech, not hate speech, but there are some forms of speech that I think are illegal and therefore cannot be protected with the First Amendment. Once again, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm just sharing an opinion. One of these would be, I don't think your speech would be protected if you use your platform to tell people to go and kill other people or kill someone. That's not protected. It's not freedom of speech because it's illegal. Another situation similar is, I don't think your speech would be protected if you go inside an elementary school and start speaking inappropriately to children. Then, yeah, so the position, the locus the position, the place where your speech is uttered may influence your protection, and what you're trying to do with your speech, such as directly telling people to break the law, these are not protected. So that's why I'm not an absolutist. But in all of other forms, I have no problem. If someone is being an asshole, which they are assholes, by the way, even against, like, if someone tells someone, for example, someone tells a black person something bad, or someone tells a white person something bad based on ethnicity, it's a horrible thing, but I would not make it illegal. I would make it something that we frown upon as a society, and then I would use my own freedom of speech to say, you're an asshole. That's what I would do. And I would do the same when it comes to, like, someone who write. I see people on Twitter. Let's be honest about this. I see people on Twitter that write horrible things, maybe about someone who is gay. Once again, I wouldn't make it illegal, but I would use my freedom of speech to frown upon it, because I think it's wrong. I think personally, I don't like being an asshole towards anyone. Whether it's, at that point, I don't even put gay, straight, white, black, this, that, Italian, not Italian, immigrant, non-immigrant. At that point, I would say maybe I don't like being an asshole towards other people. So if someone is being an asshole, I'll call them what they are. You're an asshole, and leave it at that. That's just my position on freedom of speech, but I think I spoke a little too much about it. Who do you think is the most overrated historical figure? Ooh, Malik, that's a difficult one. Most overrated of all? Man, I don't know. I'll have to think about it. I think I need to drink a little more of my Diet Coke before I can answer that one. Logan, it's ironic someone called you a fascist, since the guy that said it would probably support fascist ideals such as silencing opposition and intimidation. Most likely, yes. For what I've seen, probably. I haven't finished my research because, you know me, I'm going to watch a lot of his videos and I'm going to take notes. Don't worry, we know you're a stand-up guy. I appreciate that, Logan. Thank you so much. Abdullah says, I love Omar al-Mukhtar. I don't know who that is. Does this mean that I hate Italians, or does it mean that I support terrorism? I can't respond to that because I haven't got a clue who this individual is. Sorry about that. But thank you for the donation. I appreciate that. Anyways, if you tell me that you don't support terrorism, and if you tell me that you don't hate Italian, I'll take your word for it. Yes, so I read everything here. Thank you very much. Let me go back to live chat. And how is Twitch? Man, Twitch people, I want to see if I can go live tonight and play some games. We're going to have some really good time. Maybe I'll play some Civ tonight. We'll see. How long are you going to be online? Asks St. Nicholas. As long as I can, to be honest. But at one point, maybe I'll get so hungry that I'll have to pause to eat. But yeah, I want to be live for a while. Yes, promoting crime, slander, copyright theft is a crime. Exactly. Now the copyright has got exceptions like fair use, but yeah, sure. There are some things that are not protected. It is what it is. That's what the Constitution says. And again, I'm presenting the Constitution. People are like, but you're Italian. I know, but I live in the US. By the way, the government, the US government, I've been to the Department of Homeland Security a few days ago, and they extended my green card for 4 years, and they told me that I can begin my process to become an American citizen. So I'm very excited about that. Just to give a little update on that situation. Games, let's go, says Akron Live. Thank you. Are you going to Scream Shadows? Probably not for now, CT Tam, because I don't like giving money to Ubisoft. But I don't know. If I get the game for free, maybe. Just as a way to review it fairly at that point. You should try Inzoi. It's competing against Sims games. Maybe. Cool. Yeah, people mentioned the thing about the Chambers Shadow SE1 under the pyramids. I'll absolutely review it after the stream, and I'll see if it's something I can make a video about. Maybe I'll send a couple of links to my researchers, because I have an Egyptologist, as you know, the one that is in my head, according to my detractors. They say that my team doesn't exist and they're a figment of my imagination, which is, I love repeating that, by the way. I love that point of critique that they use against me every single time, because if it were real, if I were to accept it, it would be a compliment. It would be a compliment, because it would mean that all of the stuff that I've used a full team of professionals to research, it's all mine. That was all me. Man, that's an interesting way to attack me that they just used. They just turned me into a freaking genius. If I could do that and pull off all of those videos back to back with all of that research, in areas that are not my expertise sometimes, because we have to. Yeah, okay, my team doesn't exist, I guess. I'll let them know. I'll see if that's enough to convince them for me to not. I mean, I just made a payment of 1,500 euros to my lead researcher. We just went to the bank a few days ago. I guess I love burning money and send them to people who don't exist. Meta brain instantly unlocked. Let's go. Let's go. All right, let's go. What have we got? Congratulations. Thank you. All the people saying congratulations. Really appreciate that. Yeah. Appreciate that. Peter K says, thanks for the answer. As someone raised by teachers, I'm happy there are people like you using their platform to make people think for themselves. I appreciate that. Yeah, critical thinking, it's always something that I want people to use in all cases. And that's why I always say, guys, this is information. There are things that I'm a bit categorical about, but there are other things when the information is not as conclusive, that rather than taking a position, I say, what do you guys think? And I like that. I prefer to do that. It annoys some people, but I still think it's, in the long run, it's more beneficial. Yeah. So I'm scrolling back up because I want to read the comments that I missed. Absolutely, Daku said there is a difference if you're sharing your opinion on a topic or if you're inciting harm on others. 100%. 100%. Tuilarius says, Metatron, are there historical known female samurai or shinobi? I like the idea. Yes, we have, for example, Tomoe Gozen. She has been contrasted. There are channels that say she wasn't real. I'm more like inclined. I have to review their data. I haven't reviewed their data. Last time I checked, I thought that she was historical, to be honest. But anyways, it would be it's a different type of samurai. They use a different word for it. So even the social status will be completely different to that of a samurai. Onnabu geisha is the term. Woman warrior, we could translate. So it's not exactly the same as a samurai. And they will be extremely rare. And when it comes to female shinobi, we have a term for it, which is kunoichi. The term is kind of a play on word, because if you take the Japanese and originally Chinese kanji or character for woman, I don't know if you've ever seen it, it kind of looks like a woman who is cross-legged with her arms spread. It looks like this, the character. And then it's made of 3 components. And if these components are removed, dissected, and you read them in katakana, you would read them ku no ichi. So it's basically a katakana reading of the 3 components of the kanji of woman. And it could also be interpreted as 1 of 9, which could be maybe some kunoichis were in charge of 9. We don't know. But then again, I think kunoichi, if they are real, which I am inclined to believe that they existed, I think they did. Do remember, they were not talking about most likely someone. I don't think they would have been trained in combat. I think they would have used beauty, infiltration, poisoning, gossip. They would have used these kind of techniques. Could a kunoichi stick a dagger in your throat when you're not looking? Yes, absolutely. But they wouldn't be trained assassins. They could perform assassinations, but an infiltration, data gathering, intelligence. So I do think, why not? Why wouldn't you use it? I would use it if I would, not me, but I would use it if I was a feudal lord in Japan in that context. So yeah, they did it. I think they both existed. Right. Interesting position. Echo Wolf says insults, lies, and calls for violence are not protected by freedom of speech, or at least they shouldn't be. It's an interesting path when we go there, because if insults are not protected by freedom of speech, you can't call someone an asshole. You can't say you're an idiot. Jail or fine. Dangerous. It's very dangerous. So no, I do think that insults should be protected, because otherwise. You know what's funny? The people that want, not you, I'm not attacking you, but the people that want insults removed, you can't say anything, use insults. They do. So it's only the insults it's usually the same people that will call me a homophobe, even though I'm not, or a racist. Well, then you should go to prison too then. Are you sure you really want it? Because these people use a lot of insults at that point. So no, I wouldn't put insults. I would just say, there are situations that only those areas with lies and insults that overlap with defamation law, then yes. But since I'm not a lawyer, I'm not going to go into the into the details of that. But yeah, interesting the position though. I appreciate you bringing it up because it kind of helps me talk. Appreciate that. Let's see. And Bra says, freedom of speech says Yasuke is an agenda by Ubisoft insane activists to stir up social trouble within Japan. I don't know if the reason is to stir up social trouble, but yeah, it's an agenda. It's so obvious that it's an agenda. And that's why I kind of want to share, like literally, if you say, no, I don't think there is any agenda there is no political message, you'll be doing this. I would respect more someone who says, yeah, they are pushing politics, and I agree with those politics. At least you're being honest. I want to see if I can show you a very interesting, let me see, is it this comment? So I got a comment from a person, and I saved it, but I saved quite a few comments, and kind of wanted to share it because it's relevant. If it takes me too long to find the comment, I'll look for it later. And for now, just to prove it, and now maybe I would paraphrase it. But I did, so what this person was saying, I want to see if I can find it. Maybe give me 1 second, because what I could do is this. All right, so I go into it, because I know what he said. So I'm just going to go community. And did I respond? I don't think so. And let's see. And I write, let's see if I can find it. Yep, I found it. Yeah, I found it. So let's have a look at this comment, because I've attacked already all the activists on you know my position on that. But let me show you this. And then we go back to the chat. I saw your super chat, Correiro. I'll read it in a second. So kind of want to show you this behind the scenes very quickly, just for an opportunity to think. So look at this guy. This is my video where I'm talking about, once again, Yasuke. And then this person says, no, it's not debatable. He wasn't a samurai. What's debatable is if he even existed at all. Stick to Rome. Now, you know me. I am very much against the stuff that, you know what I'm against. I don't need to explain it to you. But this is a problem that happens on the other side when they let emotions, because this is a comment written with emotions. There are no cold facts here. It's very unfair. Not to mention the stick to Rome part is annoying. Japan and Japanese was one of my major at university. This guy is probably one of those self-improvised experts on Japanese history because of the culture war. Now, it is debatable. It is absolutely debatable. And this is, once again, one of those positions. I know why he's angry. All right, let's let the elephant in the room. Let's be serious. Why is this person so angry? He's angry because he hates the concept of DEI. And I'm going to say it. Now, I'm a person who believes in meritocracy. I hate the fixation with skin. I hate racism towards both white people and black people. And I think that people should be hired based on their skills. So I understand why this person is angry, but he's an idiot as well at this point, using my freedom of speech to insult him. Because it is debatable, and I will debate it if I have historical evidence that at least opens a window of possibility into saying, I don't feel, as someone who has studied history professionally, I just don't feel like I can make a categorical statement and say, Yasuke was not a samurai, and that's it, and you will not speak back. I don't feel, apart from the you will not speak back, I'll never use it, ever, because I'm not that kind of person. But this shows a position where a person is letting their feelings override their facts. And I am not willing to do that no matter what. No matter what the reason behind may be, and that is something that we can discuss and have a conversation about, perhaps, at one point. But I thought I'd share it with you. And there is a lot of stuff that we can say. I haven't even touched all of my points for today. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. But I wanted to read the super chat from Correiro. Thank you so much. I've watched your video for years and I'm pleasantly surprised to see you live. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to have you here then. Thanks for all the entertainment and knowledge. Can you answer our curiosity? What sparked your love for Japan? Ooh, my love for Japan, believe it or not, I started liking Japanese culture as a teenager because of video games at first. So my love for history was ignited by my mother because when I was a very young child, she read all of the Greek classics to me. And so I started loving Greeks. Greece and Greeks. I liked Greek. I wanted to learn Greek. I wanted to move to Greece when I was like 8. So that had a strong influence because then I was imagining these historical warriors with armor and bronze and spears. And that's kind of translated into Rome because I'm like, as a child, I was like, ooh, wow, the Greeks are so lucky to have all of those amazing stories and history. But then I was like, but as an Italian, what do I have? And then I looked at the Roman Empire. I'm like, ooh, man, we've got some awesome stuff and we have similar gods and that kind of stories. So I really got into that sort of history. But then when I was 14, I was practicing karate at the time and I really liked it. And then I liked samurai, I guess anime subculture, and all of that stuff combined got me into the desire of learning Japanese. Then I learned the Japanese language. I moved to Japan, and then there is all the rest. That would do that, yeah. Nerd. Oh yeah, proudly so, Sam Jackson. I'm absolutely a nerd, and I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it. I'm like the kind of nerd from the 90s, in fact 80s. I was born in the early 80s. I'm one of those nerds from the 90s. The maybe like the cool guys with the beer that go out and they are all cool with the glasses and look and maybe at us nerds because we like video games, we like anime, maybe we like these kind of things, and then they look at us, oh, this guy is not going to amount to anything, and now I'm married to a gorgeous wife. I have a wonderful career, and I have a YouTube channel. I've got all of you guys that are awesome, and I'm like, yeah, nerds, be a nerd. Be a nerd. But yeah, that's it. Reality is reality. Adrian, you speak the truth. You tell it how it is. Yeah, truth is truth. Sometimes there are truths that I find that I don't like. Am I going to hide them? No, I'm not going to hide them. If it's true, it's true. We all have a little bit of bias. We do. And I know, for example, that I have a Christian bias. Absolutely. When I research my Bible-inspired topics, in the back of my mind, I always have a desire that the stuff that I read in the Bible can be proven with history, with culture, and with languages. But if I am examining something, and maybe an apologist, a Christian apologist, and some I really like, but some are dishonest, right? Just because they're fellow Christians doesn't mean that I'm going to pretend it's not true. And if someone says something and they base it on something said or a piece of archaeological evidence, something in Latin, and I go and review it and it's nonsense, it's nonsense. At that point, I'm like, oh, he has a great point. Let me see. Oh, it's nonsense. Well, then it's nonsense. If it's nonsense, it's nonsense. And then one way I do minimize in my work, because a lot of people on Twitter, on the channel, tell me, hey, I had no idea you were a Christian. And I actually appreciate that because it means that my trying to be neutral academically and secular in my approach out of respect for the people watching, because yes, some of you are Christians, some are not, some are atheists. So when I present the history, I just want to give you the history. Then if privately you ask me, hey, Metatron, let's talk about faith. Well, we can talk about faith all day. But here on my platform, I just want to be respectful. If I am saying I'm doing history, I'm going to do history. And some people tell me that, like, I didn't know that you were a Christian. I couldn't tell. Some people say that they can see, like one person accused me oh, you told in my latest video on Jesus, but the historical context of the content in Rome and Judea, Pontius Pilate, the last one I published, I don't know if you got the notification. Someone in the comments told me, I can totally see your Christian bias in this video, and he said specifically on the section about Pontius Pilate. What's funny is that that section was written entirely by my lead researcher, who is atheist. So I'm gonna let him know that he converted and is now one of us, I guess, because he has got a Christian bias. Sounds like. I'm just gonna call him Dr. Canestrelli. I didn't know that, but amen, brother. Amen, brother. You're one of us. He's gonna be like, well, what? So yeah, the team is the team is what it is. So we come from all sorts of different. You know what my team is? It's gonna be so funny to put it this way, but I'm gonna do it anyways because comedy is not dead just because people get offended with everything these days. So I'm just gonna say it. My team is diverse. Literally, my team is an emblem of diversity. I've got people of all ethnicities, people of all religions, people of all ideas, people of all nationalities, but it just happened randomly. So my team is the opposite of DEI. Because it just happened. Because these were the people. They were the most, like I've got someone that is an expert on African history and he's black. And it just happened that he's black. Why? But I guess there is a higher chance that someone who's black has an interest and dedicates more time into his own history. There's nothing wrong with that. I love it's whole human history, but you know what I mean. I spent a lot of time in Roman history, and I don't think it's random that happened. Yeah, so it is what it is. I mean, whenever I say anything about India, it's because I asked the anthropologist, and she was born in India, although she's Italian, but she was born in India, and she speaks Hindi. And as I say, my lead researcher is atheist, and he helps me a lot with my research on my Bible videos. It just happened. It just freaking happened. So I'm gonna say it. My team is diverse and inclusive, I suppose, but it just happened naturally. And it is what it is. But yeah, I suppose there is a higher number of people who are white in the team, which would still upset, but I don't care because I don't look at the skin. I look at the qualifications. So who cares? Recognizing our biases is helpful. It is, I think, the beginning, Andy, to try and at least reduce it, because it is reducible. It's definitely something you can keep in check up to a certain degree. Like you can recognize, I think this way because of natural biases. Thank you, Koyuri, for the donation. Western game devs and journalists can't help themselves. They clearly have a hate boner for Japanese games and culture for years. Yeah, I mean, they have gaming journalists. It's a complete, maybe there are some exceptions that I'm not aware of, but a lot of game journalists, they don't do game reviews anymore. They just, like, they will give 100 out of 100 to a game just because it pushes the message they like, and they'll give 0 out of 10 or 0 out of 100 to a game because it doesn't push that message. And sorry, but that's politics. It's like, I think real gaming journalism died in the 90s with the end of the magazines, the physical media that we were buying, you and I. We were buying it to review the game because we wanted to know, oh, gameplay, this game got 5, music got 7, but I don't care about the music unless it's Dark Omen or Mega Man 2, Quickman stage, then I do care about the music. But look, the story is great, but the graphics, it only gave them 3. Why? So that's how it was supposed to be. But maybe there are. Maybe, in fact, tell me. You're like, no matter, you're wrong. There's this website. Their gaming journalists are, man, they're fire. Great. I'll be like, guys, I was wrong. But a lot of the gaming journalism that I see these days is just, I will give you maximum points only and because of I like your politics. That's it. What a shame, really. What a shame. So they don't help you. That's why I watch YouTube videos. There is a channel that says before you buy, and there is the guy doing this. I'll watch that rather than reading a freaking, gaming journalist like freaking Kotaku or whatever the heck. It's just, nah. I agree, Biwa Wolf. You're saying I'm not, or you say I am not 100% for meritocracy. So let's see how he argues his counter argument. Someone being competent doesn't mean they are moral. You need a mixture of competency and personal belief. I don't know in what context though, because I mean, moral in what sense? I mean, I don't know the morality of a technical of an IT guy, but if he can repair my computer, great. And then I'm just hoping he's a good guy at that point. But it's kind of, I don't see the connection in that position. And of course, I have to believe that you don't think the morality is connected to the skin tone. I really hope that's not the case. And therefore, I don't understand the connection. Yes, if someone is a convicted criminal or someone is like a horrible person, and I know that, even if they're very skilled, you do background checks. We have countermeasures for that. So I'm not sure about the point that you were making. Yeah. I appreciate when people strive for balance in their reporting. Absolutely. That should be. That should be the basis. And then if you misreport or exaggerate something, at least you didn't do it on purpose because you started with and then you can correct yourself. Yeah, ninja movies of the 80s, which are all BS. Yeah, but they were cool. They were complete nonsense, but they were pretty cool though. Did I ever learn Greek? I know a little bit of Greek, but it's not a language that I speak fluently, no. And I'm not even conversational in Greek. No, I'm more conversational in Mandarin than I am in Greek, like by an order of magnitude. Bennett says, as an Italian, what do I have? Wow, that must have been a massive, mind blowing experience. It really was. As a kid, I got so fixated with Rome. I mean, as you can tell, I don't think I'm hiding it, am I? So, Nerds Unite, absolutely, Kezan. How is Twitch? Let me see. Man, we are having a great stream tonight. I'm envious. I really need to get better with my Mandarin. Yeah, just a matter of practice, really. Metatron, if I make a high elf campaign, will you watch it? I don't think I can make that promise, Saint Nicholas. Make the video and then feel free to let me know, but I can't make the promise because as of now, I don't have enough time to run all four my channels and Twitch and write the book that I've been writing that you don't know about. That will be published probably in 3 weeks from now or a month, if all goes well. So I also have to spend some time with the wife, which I love to do, obviously. And so now I wouldn't have the time. I apologize. No, I haven't seen the Chinese Livy, no. Is the book in PDF? The book will be published on Amazon print on demand. So you'll be able to buy physical, digital, all sorts. And I'll try to keep it as cheap as I possibly can. I don't want to charge too much for it. I want to make it possible available to as many people as possible. The first book I'm gonna publish several books this year. Let me see. Interesting. Haddock says, juicy that victors decide the truth. That's an argument to be made in detail. I have a video. Is history written by the victor? And I think it's a half-true statement. So there is some truth to it. Of course, yeah, people that win often manipulate the records, the historical records, in order to push a certain propaganda. Everybody did it. The Aztecs did it. The Romans did it. Not to mention damnatio memoriae, when they were like literally deleting people from out of existence in terms of even the records. So yeah, on one side it's true, but then remember the history is written by historians. So, and historians die and then new historians come to be. And what we do, not that I consider myself a professional historian, I don't like to consider myself that, but I'm a history enthusiast. But let's say that what historians do, and I do that too on my side, is that you look at what this country said or this political leader said, and then you see what surrounding countries say, if they all reported the same event, and then you see, okay, what does the archaeological strata provide? And then you see literary evidence, and then you see iconographic evidence. So you piece together and that something, and when you read Vegetius, that you have to be a little careful. You know that when you read the instances where they're talking about the Emperor Elagabalus, yeah, there is a lot of anti-imperial propaganda in it, and you need to be able to read through it and sift through it. So, do the victors write history? They do attempt to do it 100%, but the job of a historian, and in general a real academic, not the nonsense people that push politics for money or messages, but the real academics, their job is to sift through it and still present, in collaboration with other disciplines, the closest that we have with the current understanding to what actually happened. So it's a bit of both. It's a bit of both. Thank you, Inkpenification. Good to see you here. You're often joining the streams. This is a random thought, but I think calling Romanian a category 1 is inaccurate, because while the spelling is simple and has similar vocabulary to English, the grammar is strange and have a lot of exceptions to each word. So you're saying that you think that Romania should be classified as a harder language? That's what you're saying. I don't know how complicated the Romanian grammar is. I don't think the pronunciation is super difficult if you come from another sister Romance language, but I wouldn't know about it. Yeah, but it's a good position. It's interesting, but we would have to review with someone who actually knows Romanian. Be a Wolf, thank you for the donation. The argument that even if someone has excellent qualification for a position, it doesn't mean they will act morally. I see. A corrupt administrator who is talented is worse than an average honest admin. Well, yeah, I agree with that. I do agree with that, of course. That's why I debunk people with... You can have 15 PhDs, and as a team, we will debunk you if what you're saying is wrong. Or we will respond. If it's not a debunk, we will respond if we think it's wrong, what's being presented. And often people do use that, and they say, well, but I have this, I have that, and so what? It's a lie, still a lie. It doesn't matter. Like, for instance, Simon Elliott, I will always bring him up because he just pisses me off. So he's one of those that will say that stuff that is categorically wrong, and just because he has a degree doesn't mean anything at that point. What does that mean? Not to mention that people use their degrees for surrounding fields. Like, yeah, if you have a university degree in military history with a specialization in Roman history, and you start telling me about Japanese history, specifically from the point of history of religion, I get it that you have a degree, and maybe as an educated person, you could have some good takes, but you're not, at that point, you're outside your field of expertise, so I'm not going to take it as like this is the gospel, which I don't do with specialists either. Yeah. Let's see. They can have many PhDs or whatever it's called. The person can still be stupid. That's an interesting point that Daxfile is presenting. I do think that often people who do have PhDs tend to also be very intelligent, but it's not always the case, in the sense that you can have extremely intelligent people who are uneducated, but they're still extremely intelligent. Also, because intelligence has different versions. You have book intelligence, but you also have other types of intelligence that are more connected to manual skills or problem solving, for instance. But in general, you can be very uneducated because you couldn't pay for it, but you are like a freaking genius. You're really intelligent. And at the same time, you can have someone who is highly educated and is an absolute idiot. Although at that point, idiot is because of other criteria. But then, of course, you also have people who are highly intelligent and highly educated. And I haven't seen any statistic, but I'm gonna hope that that's often a correlation, but there are situations where it clearly isn't. Rive Vandal, thank you for the donation. Hey, Metatron, what type of air conditioner do you use, and do you blow dry your hair? So yeah, I always use conditioner. Every shampoo is always followed by a conditioner. My wife bought my conditioner. I don't remember the brand. I apologize. She's the one who selects it. I just follow her expertise. She's also the one who selected my skincare. So there is that. I mean, at the end of the day, I am an almost 43-year-old man, and I think I'm looking fine. I'm aging fine. So vitamin pills and clean living, I guess. Do I blow dry my hair? Yes, I do. Although I know it would be better to let the hair dry, or so they say. But I don't really have the patience. So yeah, I try not to use maximum heat though. And just like that, we ended up talking about my hair, which now reaches my waist. So I think I'm going to stop it there. Although I think genetically that's my limit. I do not believe. I have a friend and his hair reaches his ankles. But that's very rare genetically. We have a genetic limit for hair growth, and it varies from person to person. I think mine is the waist, and that's it. I do not believe it can go. In fact, it's not even exactly the waist. It's below the belly button, but not exactly the jeans. Like it's the natural waist rather than the where you put your jeans. Or maybe I don't know. Maybe I did reach the jeans belt at this point. I don't actually know. We could test it during the stream. But anyways, I don't think other people are really interested in my hair right now. So, but you were, so I respect that. Scipio, hey, even the general just donated. Sub Metatron, do you think Majorian could have saved the Western Empire? Majorian, love your channel. I don't know, mate. I mean, speculative history is so interesting, but I've only made 3 videos about it because in order to make speculative history that isn't just, I'm just going to say a bunch of things without any foundation, I take a lot of time to actually try to justify whatever statement that I'm making in this hypothesis that it's, speculative in nature. So I have no idea. It's like I would have to actually research it to provide an answer that isn't like a 2 cents answer. So like, yeah. TJA asks me, do you like the Third Reich? The answer is no. Let's see. What book are you writing? So Maria asks, my first book. I decided to write my first book in the thing that it's easiest for me. And so it's a book dedicated to help people reach fluency in any foreign language. So it's about foreign language acquisition and my personal experience, not only with English, which is my second language, I wasn't brought up with it, but also with Japanese, with Mandarin, and all the other languages that I've reached either fluency or a high conversational level. And that's what the book is about. I think it's very well structured. It's 8 chapters. I've already written 7. And it's based on a decade of experience in teaching languages professionally and 20 years of experience in learning. So I decided to make that as my first book. It will be more heavily branded on my second channel, Metatron's Academy, which is all about language learning, but I will mention it here as well for those who wish to, I don't know, maybe they like the idea of owning, maybe you guys like the idea of owning a book of mine. That's how it works for me. I like buying a book from a YouTuber that I watch, so it's going to be there. It's going to be very nice. But that's just the beginning. Then I'm going to start going into other types of book, about how to approach, like how to find the truth when it comes to historical analysis. I'll write a book about it with the whole team. So that's going to be a great book, I think, because rather than just let me write a book about the Roman Empire, there are a million books about that. But I think what we can add is writing a book on this mission that is, in fact, what the channel stands for, and how to reject all forms of political propaganda, how to reject that kind of stuff, and create a book that goes into in excruciating details, the process that all of our productions go through in order to try and do that, with a subsection about bias. So that will be probably the next book. And then I'm going to write a novel, a fantasy novel, just for fun, because I love the idea of doing that. And so we'll see. Plenty of plans, but let's do them one at a time. Thank you, Reven, for gifting a Metatron membership on YouTube. I really appreciate that. Hair, said Saint Nicholas on Twitch. Yeah. Let me see. Pikan says on Twitch, if you are ever in Okinawa, Japan, you've got a place to stay, hang out, and a tour guide with us. It's awesome you know so many languages. I only know 3, but hopefully can expand. That's fantastic. Do you speak, and thank you, by the way, you're very generous. Do you speak Uchinaguchi since you live in Okinawa? Do you use their own language to communicate with them, or do you get by with Japanese? I have spoken with people from Okinawa. From my perspective, they have a pretty strong accent when they speak Hyojung, I was going to say Nihongo to Japanese. But I can understand them. I can have a conversation with someone from Okinawa regardless of the accent. But when they do speak their own language, I do not understand a word. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I see. You gifted two memberships, Reva. Sorry for mispronouncing. Thank you for your generosity. It's really appreciated. You guys are awesome. Oh, I see. So Abdullah was explaining. Thank you for the donation. Sorry it took me so long. And you were saying Omar is a Libyan who fought the Italian government in Libya from 1911 to 1931. Oh, I see. Was executed for treason. I don't think I'm Italian, especially Amedeo Gillette. In addition, I eat pineapple after pizza for dessert. Well, as long as you eat it after pizza, no problems, mate. No problems. You can eat all the pineapple you want as long as you don't put it on the pizza. And yeah, I'm not familiar with this specific person, but yeah, no, whatever. I mean, you know who you hate and who you like. As I was saying before, if you tell me specifically that you don't hate Italians, I believe you. Right? You don't need to, but I appreciate that. I mean, you just supported financially an Italian, so I guess that settles it. But thank you. Inkpanification, thank you for the donation. Random question, but which variety accent would make for a great voice for an intimidating villain? I'm gonna go for Sicilian. You know, let me give you, since you just inspired this thing, but as an interesting fun fact, you know, when you hear oftentimes in old school gangster movies that show Italian Americans or Italian immigrants in America in the 40s, in the 50s, and they have this accent when they go, ah, Johnny, I promised your mother to protect you, and you do this to me. This is not an Italian accent. This is specifically a Sicilian accent. Someone from Milan, someone from Rome, someone from Naples do not speak like this. So often the over-exaggerated at times Italian accent that Americans have in mind is Sicilian. If you hear people from Milan, of course they have an Italian accent, and I mean a Sicilian accent is an Italian accent in the sense that Sicilians are Italian, but it's its own accent. So it would be like saying someone with a Texas accent or someone with a California or a New York accent when they're like sausage. Right, that's a type of American accent, but not all Americans sound like that, right? And so likewise, this way of speaking with your throat, that's so Sicilian. Like old people in Sicily have this thing. And then even the intonation and the musicality of it is often very, very stereotypically Sicilian. Now, not all gangsters that operated in America in the 50s were Sicilian, plenty were, but if you look at someone like Al Capone, so Al Capone, well, he was from Naples, so I guess it depends. It's kind of, he would have had a Neapolitan accent, I imagine, obviously. But it's just an interesting fun fact, I think, to think that when you put on that accent, you're actually speaking like a Sicilian. Could you imagine someone from Milan that speaks like, che sta facendo? Asseattate, che t'ammazzo tua famiglia. That's Sicilian. That's Sicilian. All right. So I can't really put on a Milan accent, but a Milan accent is a bit more sophisticated. This accent is Sicilian. It's like very intimidating kind of accent is Sicilian. Do you have a method for identifying historical biases? In my study, oh yeah, absolutely. There are plenty of methods. There are full-on university theses and doctorate theses that's and articles that speak about it. In my study, such thing as prevalent in American Civil War and Revolutionary War research, I understand. It's a very deep topic, but I was thinking of making a video about it, so perhaps I'll refer you to that video once I finally get my SHIT together and get it. Thank you for your support. And Peter K., you have to read multiple sources to figure out the truth. Absolutely. You can't blindly trust anyone, even the experts. Yep, and I like that you put the quotations. Like, I've learned a lot from this channel, but I always look for the facts, not opinions. Totally. Also because if I didn't give you the facts, I would be pandering to you. And I think that would be disrespectful. My audience is very mixed. But as a YouTuber, one thing that we learn to do, and sometimes we don't, but usually YouTubers try to give their audience what they want. This is part of being a successful content creator, is to give the audience what they want. Create your videos based on your own passions, but also on public demand and algorithmic nonsense. But at the same time, I tried to build an audience that desires me to tell them how it is. which is why sometimes I piss off one side, sometimes I piss off the other side. Like, yeah, whenever I say this character historically was not gay, people call me homophobic, and some left-wing people, not all, because a lot of people are left-leaning in my audience and they don't mind, but there are some extremists that hate me for it, and they make all the blogs. But then I talk about women warriors, and some ultra conservatives get pissed at me, and they're like, no, it's nonsense, no such a thing ever existed. I'm like, what about the Sarmatians? So like, yeah, I am aware that when I produce a certain video and I do the research, I'm like, oh, this is gonna piss off some of my audience. I know that, but I would rather not disrespect you to remove an entire section from a video because I know you're not gonna like it. You know, it's I'd rather say, you know what, I'm treating you like a man, and I'm treating you like a woman, I'm treating you like an adult, and I'm saying, listen, this is what I found. Now, given if you can prove me wrong and say, Metatron, you're actually wrong, this is the truth, and you are right, boom, I'm gonna admit it. I'm gonna say it because I do it. I'll cut it off from the video, or I'll debunk myself I've done it. That I have no problems. But this idea that I have to be careful, I know, I understand it. There are a lot of YouTubers that are milquetoast. They have the milquetoast takes. That's not me. I do the controversial stuff. I know it. And also because it benefits me, I get views through it. So I'm not going to hide that. But also because I just can't do the milquetoast thing. I just can't do it. What an expression, milquetoast. M138, thank you for the donation, unrelated, but that... thank you for all the years of quality content, Raffaello. You are my favorite historical YouTuber. Thank you so much. I mean, I'm very honored that I'm your favorite. Also, Raffaello with double F. We use 2F with the name, but thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm glad to hear it. Sly Marbo, thank you for the donation. How often would you dig into Japanese materials, or you prefer English instead? I use English until something looks... that could be interpreted in different ways, since I do know Japanese. Then at that point, I will refer to the original. Also, I will, of course, use the original if there is nothing in that is being translated. So it kind of depends. I do use both. And how would you translate the ministry rank titles into English? Yeah, you have to find something that is similar. But if it's not exactly the same, then you have to put a little annotation, like a caveat, or something like that. It's similar to when you do translation for something that is contextually cultural. So, for instance, if I'm translating a book and the character in this book is beating their chest, okay? And I'm like, well, why are they doing that? And they are doing it because in their culture, they are, that's an expression of sadness. Now, if I translate it literally, that can be a little confusing because, I mean, we don't do that, right? So I could say maybe, and then a similar situation happened that I actually did see was with pulling your hair. Pulling your hair in one culture was an aspect of happiness. Pulling your hair on another culture was an aspect of sadness and despair. Well, you have to translate it contextually or literally. It's one of the two. The character did pull their hair, but for them it's happiness. So how am I going to render it? Are they gonna, when I render it into a targeted language where within that culture, when you're pulling your head, it's a sign of despair, this could confuse the audience. So maybe I could change it. I could say they were so happy that they raised their hands into the sky, but then it's a problem because literally they didn't do it. So this creates a lot of confusion, and I'm one of those who says maybe translate it literally, but do put a footnote and explain that in this culture this specific gesture denotes this mind status. I like that because I love literal translations when they can be used and applied in a culture, but not every translator agrees with that. Calvin Gulotta, thank you for the donation. Any chance for another Praetorian video? To speak about Praetorians, not at the moment, because I think the one I made was pretty good, quite conclusive, and also didn't do well because algorithm, but we'll see. Peter K, thanks for the answer. Yeah, I read that. Thank you. And then Led said, ever heard of the Tibetan epic of King Gesar or Gesar? It's been theorized that Caesar is a cognate to this word, to Caesar, okay? Or Gesar is a cognate to Caesar. Basically, Tibetan epic poem about Caesar. Look it up. I'll definitely check it out. There is a lot of discussion on the actual origin of the word Caesar, and some say that it could mean elephant. but we don't know that for sure. And it's kind of difficult to really know. But we do know that it was pronounced Caesar, for anyone who's still skeptic about that and thinks it should be pronounced Caesar in the ecclesiastical Latin pronunciation, not 2,000 years ago. It's Caesar. Like, there is no doubt about it. It's one of those that is like, it's categorical. We can discuss if the S was retracted or if it was full frontal, if you really want to go for it. But that's it. Like, it's the only, apart from that, it's fine. I mean, it's Caesar. It is. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, at that point, a lot of Italians actually get pissed at me because of that, because they hate the classical restored pronunciation. I love it. But maybe because I'm truth-centric. So if that's the truth, I love it and I ditch everything else. I guess that's what it would be. Thank you for the donations. Riva Vandal 22, you've been very generous. And thank you, Sean, for the support. Koyuri, welcome. You're a new member of the channel. And have you got to the big Italian scene in KCD2? Have you been waiting for the analysis? Not yet, blah, blah. I need to put a few hours into KCD2 so that I can give it a proper review. I should do that. Yeah. Alia, Ilithia, Luna. Oh, Luna. That's cool. That means moon in Italian and I think Spanish. I'm a history fan now because of your content. Well, that's great. That's like mission success then. Thank you for your efforts in creating quality and educational entertainment through your videos. My pleasure. Thank you so much for your support. Lovely name. And Abdullah, do you have any idea about Amedeo Gillette? He's the best subject for a series. I've heard the name, but it's not something that I've deeply studied, no. Or studied, in fact, in any way that would be sufficient to create a series about it, or let alone a video. But thank you for the suggestion, Abdullah. I'm copy-pasting it as a suggestion, because I like writing down. A lot of videos exist. People are like, how do you come up with these videos? Ask my audience. A lot of you guys come up with the ideas that end up being a video for the channel. Okay. Let me see. I like Metatron's pronunciation of Caesar. I think Caesar would like my pronunciation of Caesar. Yeah. Yeah, so that's an interesting. Joe W. writes Kaiser with a question mark, so you are connecting to the emperor in German, and the same is saying Fletcher. Yes, they are absolutely influenced. So basically what happened is that the word Kaiser in German derives from the Latin word Caesar. They are not pronounced exactly the same, because usually, and correct me if you're German, but I believe you don't pronounce the R at the end and you pronounce the Z in a fricative way and you say Z. It's sweet. It's a sweet. Sometimes people call it sweet sound. Whatever. It's vocalized. So I believe in German it's pronounced Kaiser, while in classical Latin it would be Caesar. And the difference would be that the S is a S and the R is fully trilled. Also, in German, you have the A, E, so I, while in classical Latin, it's Ae, Caesar, rather than Kaisa. But yeah, they are related. And the reason why I know it's Ae and not I is because I exists as a diphthong, but it's in archaic Latin. And by that time, so I want to say 3rd century BC to 3rd century AD, that sphere of language, developmental stage of Latin, you already had transitioned into Ae. So yeah, it's Caesar. It is a Germanization of the name. Absolutely it is. No questions about it. That's where it comes from. And it's fascinating that they preserve the K sound, which, by the way, we find also in Greek. They use it with a K sound. And you guys preserved it, even though eventually Italian will switch it into... Well, already rural Latin during the imperial period was starting to switch from K sound to Ch. So it's something that does happen earlier than medieval Latin. Then it gets strongly injected as the preferred pronunciation, because it's simpler, into medieval Latin, and then now it's the Italianate pronunciation, and that's how Cesar, which is like, yeah. Mi piace come pronunci il mio nome. I like how you pronounce my name, says Julius Caesar. Yeah. Very cool. I really like the full name of his nephew, so the first emperor, Octavian. Also because, although it's not the easiest one, I had to practice it a little bit because as an Italian, I do struggle sometimes with phonemic vowel length because Latin, being an ancient language, places phonemic length and increases the length of vowels in positions that are completely unnatural for an Italian. And to give you two examples, since it's interesting, in this case, Octavianus, the first I is long. That's not natural for me. Just like Romanum, the O is long, or Lorica, the O and the E are both long. As an Italian, I would say Lorica. And the first O, I would pronounce it short, but I have to remind myself, no, they're both long. Lorica, Octavianus, with the S retracted. That's another thing that I had to change because I'm Sicilian, so my S's are frontal. My dad has got retracted S's naturally because he's from the north, and he still has that sound, which was the default sound. It's not anymore the default sound. It's standard Italian, but it used to be in Latin. So yeah. Augustus, yep. That's exactly the phonetic alphabet. Yep, okay, then I was correct. Good. Thank you, Vlad Schneider. Your ideal setting for AC game, also overrated answer. Rome. I would love to have an Assassin's Creed in Rome, but after what they have done now, I'm a little concerned about what they would do about it, to be honest. Okay, Peter K. My bias was challenged here on BC versus BCE. You were Soviet educated, so no religion, but your video made me go research and changed my outlook on notation. Man, I appreciate your open mind. At the end of the day, I don't have a problem if people choose with their own freedom to use BCE CE. I never will. It will be BC AD until the day I'm dead, and on my grave, I want them to write that I was born in the year of the Lord, 1982. That's what I'm gonna get. But yeah. How faithful was Caesar Legion to Rome in Fallout? I heard about it, but I haven't played it, so I don't know, Hobocop, but it's a pretty nice one. I've heard people telling me about it. I'll have to consider a video. Maybe not on my main channel, because my gaming content is on Metatron's Protectorate, my gaming-focused channel, but I could make a dedicated video on that platform, and then I'll let you know on the community tab, which I do use a lot, by the way, for this kind of stuff on the main channel, so that if you're interested in the topic, you could go and check it out. But thank you for the idea. What do you think is the most interesting Roman emperor? I am fascinated by Aurelian. Yeah, he is an interesting one, but for me, it's Octavian. Octavian is just Tiberius or Tiberius is another one that I like studying a lot. Marcus Aurelius, yeah. There are a lot of Roman emperors that are interesting. By the way, we have just completed the research and script for a video dedicated to the most deranged and unhinged Roman emperors. And this one is grounded, though. It's not one of those that is just going to repeat the stuff that they get from articles about this emperor was crazy. No. We triple checked everything. And the stuff that we are showing on this video, it's going to be like properly researched. So I still have to film it, but the script is ready. So I guess I'm going to film it on Monday. And then I give it 4 days of production for editing. And the video will be posted. Thank you, Maria. Tracer. I'm sure I've asked every YouTuber writer I respect about this, but how do you think women writers can write better male characters? Ask male friends. That's honestly what I would do. I think find the original source. So maybe you write whatever you want, and then you can ask a guy or multiple guys and see what they think. Would you say that? Would you think this way? And that way can be more authentic. That's honestly what I would do. Like if I were to write, let's say, a fictional book set in ancient Rome, and imagine that in this book, if there is an important female character, I would absolutely ask my wife or ask a couple of people, like, would you? Of course, there is, now that I'm saying ancient Rome, I'm going to make it harder because there is the ancient aspect of it. But for a moment, giving that one for granted that I'm going to do my research, I think I would do that. And even if in this character, if there is, imagine, a gay character, not gay in the modern sense, but in the ancient sense, if someone had made sense historically, for whatever reason, if I had to write about this character, then I would ask a gay person. like to give me some perspectives, but only on those things that overlap, not on the things that don't. Then that's one of the reasons why I usually prefer say same-sex attracted or homosexual when I talk about, but in general I say same-sex attracted. I can't even pronounce it when I speak about the ancient past, because not everything is perfectly. The experience of a gay man in 2025 is completely different to the experience of a gay man in ancient Greece or in ancient Rome, and even more so in the medieval period or in feudal Japan, where homosexuality was absolutely a thing between samurai. It did exist, it did happen, but it's different. And so there are some areas of overlap. The obvious one being the fact that someone who is gay in ancient Rome and is gay now, you are both attracted by the same sex. Okay, so that's an area of overlap. But for example, if you went to someone in Rome and you, as a gay man who is modern, and went to someone in Rome and said, "But would you like to have a boyfriend?" He would look at you like, "What are you talking about?" No, I can't do that. But he would say, because he could say, I have to hide it if I have to be the active partner, and then he has to be the one. The lower rank of society has to be the passive partner. If they do something different, they have to hide it. So imagine how different it is. And so, but yeah, I would still, for those areas of overlap, for those ideas and the way you go through life, if I were to write a character about that, I would ask a gay man to give me their opinions and tell me how they look at something or how they speak about something. Absolutely. So that would be my answer when it comes to that. Have you tried the famous Joe Rogan and Elon Musk anchovy plus pineapple on pizza combination? Never in a million years. Someone asked me, since I'm starting my process to receive American citizenship, as I was saying earlier on this stream, someone asked me as a joke, but what if one of the requirements is to eat Domino's pizza? I said, listen, I'm willing to make sacrifices. The only thing I'm unwilling to do is blasphemy, which would be that. But I'm willing to make sacrifices, not a problem. I'll eat that Domino's pizza. I don't really like Domino's pizza, by the way. At this point, if I have to go for American chain, I'd rather eat Pizza Hut over Domino's, but that's just me. And I cannot stand Papa John because it's sweet. But there are some nice pizzas that I've had. It really changes. You can't really say American pizza because pizza is so different if you eat it depending on what state you go. It's so different that I would rather talk about the pizza in that state at that point. Let's see. Cortova says, I'm slightly interested. I'd like to grow my hair out that long. Well, yeah, you should. Then if that's something you want to do, absolutely do it. Absolutely do it. Let's see. I have read more Warhammer novels than Metatron, but my understanding of Rome is just an echo of his. I appreciate that. I need to start reading more. I love the Warhammer universe. I love it. Warhammer is just one of those things that for me, I have to do some on my gaming channel and on Twitch. I've got to start playing some Warhammer Total War. We got to play through them, the campaign. You take a day off, just do that all day. I've got to do it. Absolutely, I've got to do it. Okay, 1 second before we move to the next item. Okay. So one more thing that I wanted to say, since you guys were discussing, I heard, but I don't know if it's true, since today we're talking mostly about, we talked about a lot of things, but we were talking about Assassin's Creed. I heard this, but I don't know if it's true. So at the moment, until I play it, I'm not gonna use it against the game. But talking about the relationships that you can have in this game, we were talking earlier on that as Yasuke, you can romance a real historical character who is Oda Nobunaga's sister. That already, I understand why people are not going to like it, because they feel like, okay, now it's not historical anymore, as this didn't happen, and they're both historical characters. Yasuke is real, and Oichi is real, so these characters are real, and so, but it never, as far as we know, interacted that way, so I understand. But I heard this. Let me know if you know if this is true or not. So I noticed someone complaining about the possibility of having a gay romance with samurai in Assassin's Creed. And the thing is that from a historical perspective, I mean, I wouldn't choose it. I don't choose that kind. I usually don't even. I do romance in video games, but I'm not interested in the sexual aspect of it, like at all. I'm like, what, whatever. I liked the romance options that you had in Dragon Age Origins. I'll tell you that much. But usually that's where I leave it. If it's well written, maybe with a fade out towards a black screen, so you know what happened, but it's just developing the characters. I think it's really nice. At that point, romance is really nice. I kind of would leave it at that personally, but that's just me. Regardless of that, I heard that this samurai in the game identifies as non-binary and uses preferred pronouns. Is this true or not? Because if the latter part is not true, and it's just people who hate the game are just lying about it, and the reality is that they hate the fact that they talk about gay samurai. Well, they existed. It's a historical thing. So I don't have a problem with that. It existed. I'm not going to choose it. I'm not going to select that option if it's in the game. But, I mean, it existed. I would just say you can mention that it existed. You can show that this is okay, but I would just maintain it within the relevance of decency that I would expect from straight relationships too. And that's it. Just being fair. But if they are adding non-binary and preferred pronouns, then they're out of their mind. But before I create, when people say you're creating fake, okay, no, I'm not creating. I want to ask, is it true? Is this a real Metatron or an imposter? Oh no, real Metatron. I'm multi-streaming on my main channel, so you can go check, Juice, since you're on Twitch. Yeah, the first name was saying gay exist in Russia too, but they are shunned and everyone pretends they don't exist. Well, they're out of their mind. Gay people always existed. Obviously, they existed. I mean, you don't have to pretend that they don't exist. So you should react to some Asmongold reactions to the Assassin's Creed drama. I might do it for next stream because Asmongold is one of those creators that I personally like. Asmongold, he has made some. I like his takes. Sometimes he has made takes that I'm like, you're out of your mind. How could you even say that? But then he apologized for it. So that's why I'm like, okay, all right, I'll take that. Usually, let's put it this way. Usually, I agree with Asmongold's takes. He has made some takes where he was actually either a total asshole, because he is an asshole, or he was completely wrong. But then, oftentimes, his takes are like, yeah, it makes sense. What he's saying is right. So it's just one of those things. So I wouldn't mind reacting to that. Totally. So someone is confirming that he is a non-binary samurai. Well, then they're out of their mind. It's ahistorical. It should be a gay samurai. What are you doing? Are you at this point you're canceling gay for non-binary? I don't understand it. Isn't it wrong to cancel from history? So I don't know. I'll have to play it at that point. No, if I get it for free, I'll play it. So I'll let you know if it's true. Let's put it this way. Okay, Dakus Malu says, Metatron, look up Onimusha Dawn of Dream. I am familiar with Onimusha 1, 2, and 3, but I never played that one. Yasuke is a blonde Japanese and ships Oichi. Really? Well, there we go. I'm against that. Yasuke was black, so don't make him blonde. I'm against that just as much as Cleopatra being black. Totally. That's insane they did that. How did they not get backlash for it? Goodness gracious. Nerdette says she loves Assassin's Creed Shadows, but that's good. It's your prerogative. Absolutely. Have at it. Have fun. It's funny. Beowulf says, since I'm also an arse, I can't watch Asmongold. I like wholesome YouTubers like Metatron. I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate that. You were watching Asmongold play through Rise of Ronin recently. I'll have to check him out. Play. Every time I check, I see that he's live. It's React streams. I would like to watch one of his gaming streams. I've just been unlucky, by the way. I'm not trying to accuse him of anything. The man can do whatever he wants. But I'm saying maybe I'd like to watch him play a game sometimes, yeah. There is a diversity officer in the Assassin's Creed CEO of the company. They say yes. Oh, goodness gracious. and it's historical. I don't know what they do. What if they really want to speak about non-binary people? You know when they should set their games in the present. Set it in the present. Then I'm not gonna complain. Just be clear about it so people know, and they can make a decision if they want to buy it or not. Maybe someone who's non-binary will buy it because they feel reflected in the game. They like it. Splendid. More power to you. Just don't put don't put someone who uses they them in 15th century Japan, because at that point I'm gonna be like, set it in the modern period then, if that's what you want to show. Yeah. Asmongold is more like a guy I meet at the gym. Metatron is more like of a guy that stays over for dinner. Yeah, I mean, sure. We could have a smash burger. Goodness gracious, I'm obsessed. Americans, damn you. You and your food. I love smashed burgers. They are so good. I just can't get enough of them. Last time we went to New York, smash burger, smash burger, smash burger. Now I found the smash burger not too far in this state, so I'm not going to say where it is or how far it is, but it's in this state where I live, so we like going periodically. And the other day I even tried to make my own smash burger, and I think I did a pretty good job together with the wife. She's much better than me though at making at cooking. She's getting really good. I still have the priority in this house though when it comes to making Italian pasta. I'm still the best one at doing that. She might get better than me though. She's really good. What's your gut feeling on Nolan's Odysseus movie? That it's gonna be horrible. That's my gut feeling. At least when it comes to the costume department. Maybe the actors will be phenomenal though. So at least it could be half entertaining. And thank you, Riva, for gifting another Metatron membership. I really appreciate that. Let me double check that. Oh, yeah, there we go. Chaka13, thank you for subscribing on Twitch with Prime. I really, really appreciate your support, guys. I hope that my Prime, not my Prime, I hope that my Twitch, Metatron Gemini, will, you know, keep growing. It's been growing, it's been successful, and I really hope that it continues because that would allow me to put more hours into gaming, which is fantastic. I really, really hope that that can happen. In fact, you know what? I'm just going to do one thing now. 1 second, please. 1 second, please. There you go. So now, oh yeah, we just hit 4,000 followers. Just hit it. That's lovely. And now you can hear my double voice. No, I just wanted to share it. How do I do that? Look at me, professional YouTuber, streamer, and whatnot, and I don't even know how to share. Well, you know what? That's how I'm gonna share it. I'm just gonna share my link to my Twitch, and I would really appreciate anyone, because I stream a lot, guys. I stream a heck of a lot, and for hours and hours. Usually in the evening. Usually 10:30 or 11 Central Standard Time is when I start playing. But occasionally I also stream in the afternoon, like today. I've been streaming, doing multi-streaming. But sometimes I do dedicated streams on Twitch if I'm starting a little late, or if it's a game that I don't really want to have as a VOD on YouTube because I want to edit it afterwards, then I will do dedicated streams on Twitch. So yeah, come follow. It's gonna be great. Bui Ngyatuan, thank you for the donation. The PM talking about copycat, like play GTA, make you a killer, is not about the Yasuke, but about the destruction system in particular. I see. I think, the Prime Minister, of course, yeah, I know it's not about Yasuke. I don't think he spoke about Yasuke, but I think he spoke about the fact that you can destroy the shrine and places of importance when it comes to Japanese cultural heritage. I think that's what it is. But thank you for the specification. Appreciate that. Okay, let me double check that I haven't forgotten any super chat. We don't want to be disrespectful. Yeah, I did. Reven Vandal 22, thank you for your donation. Have you ever played God of War? Do you enjoy historical fantasy? I absolutely love historical fantasy, although usually I prefer high fantasy. And when it comes to God of War, oh yeah, I started with the first one. I played the first one and the second one, and then I stopped. Great game, though. Very fun. Oh, don't worry about the misspelling, Abdullah. Not a problem. I appreciate that you corrected it. Thank you for the support. Colin Aubrey, thank you for the donation. Sorry for taking so long. Hey, Metron, as somebody who enjoys both Roman and Greek history, have you considered making any video on Byzantium in any of its historical periods? Absolutely. We've been thinking about it with the team. It's possible we'll come up with something on the Dominate first, maybe, the late Empire, and then the Byzantine Empire. It's very possible. So we'll see if it happens. Marvin Martin, if you wrote an alternative history novel, if you could time travel and rewrite history books, if you could invent your own fictional history. Yeah, I mean, I would love to do all of that, to be honest. It would be nice to go back in time, see what actually happened, come back and say, guys, here is the definitive video. It's just that YouTube wouldn't give it. The algorithm would cap it at 16,000, even though the title would be, guys, I went to ancient Rome and I saw the Battle of Alasia. Oh, goodness gracious, the algorithm. But yeah, cool idea. All right. But yeah, so lots of things to talk about, really. But lovely stream. I'm starting to get really hungry, so I'm thinking. Also, people keep speaking about pizza, guys. I think I'm gonna call it a night for today, just for now. Also, because it's possible that I will be streaming again tonight on Twitch. I'm not 100% though, because it depends if I still have the voice, since I'm not a professional streamer just yet. But yeah, I think, where is the pasta though? Downstairs, and so I'll have to go and make it. Get a smash burger. Yeah, I probably should, for the Republic. I really appreciate you coming here. We had good numbers tonight. Really good numbers. In fact, I could continue a little longer, maybe. How about we continue a little longer, because I have a lot of people watching right now. 725. Well, unless this goes down, I think I'm going to continue a little longer, because I usually don't get these numbers. So yeah, let's stay a little longer. You know what I could do though? Here's what I could do. And also 56 people on Twitch. This is quite successful. I'm going to send a message to my lovely wife and let her know that I am hungry. And maybe she can help out with that a little bit. All right, let's see what happens. Bless the wife. Bless the wife. Absolutely. Let's see what she's going to say. She asks, what do you want? I could say surprise me. Oh, gosh. You know what? There you go. Is your wife Italian? No, she's American. Echo Wolf. Pizza, don't forget the pineapple. No, I don't think we're going to make pizza right now, because it would take too long, honestly. Even if we ate a frozen pizza, which I'm not against it, by the way. The Italians do buy frozen pizza in Italy. It's just that we know it's not the best. It's just something you eat when you don't have anything else. We got quite a few, but it would take a little too long. And no pineapple. She just hearted that I said surprise me. So we'll see what happens. Oh, gosh. Let's see, what else have we got? We are in for some overtime. Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. What about 1 million? You are so close to 1 million. It appears to be the case, yes. It would be nice as a personal milestone. I mean, at the end of the day, the subscribe number is a vanity number. It's often inflated, and what really matters is the views you get and the people that actually watch, the active viewers. And but it's still a nice milestone as a personal achievement, although then again, it's our achievement. If you guys didn't subscribe, I wouldn't have achieved anything. So it's like something we can both say as subscribers to the channel, look what we have done. Because oftentimes it's because you share the content, you comment, so that triggers, hopefully, the algorithm, and all of that happens Do you prefer pizza in Italy or the US? Asks Jun Kazama. Wow, Jun Kazama herself. Italy, 100%. But I will. There are some nice pizzas in America too. So as long as I tried to look at it this way, Italian American food is Italian American food. It's not. If I want Italian American food to be exactly like Italian food, then I won't enjoy it. But if I just look at it as its own thing, it's Italian American. Then I can enjoy it. And there are some things that I really like as long as I know how much salt they put in it. And there are some things that I like. Salmon nigiri over dragon roll. Yeah, I don't like fish, Rive Vandal, so both I probably wouldn't eat if they contain fish. The only fish I eat is tuna. My man Meta, I'm a Massachusetts Republican, which is a Democrat in most other states. I don't know what that means, but okay. If you ever come to Boston, I'd buy you a beer. Stay rad, dude. I will. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Adam, thank you so much. Massachusetts. That sounds so cool, the name. Is it one of those names? I think it's one of those names that comes from like a Native American word, right? Like tribes that were living in that area. I could be completely wrong, but looking at the spelling, I appreciate the beer. What beer would you suggest? Just the other day, I had a Peroni. It was really good. Just a simple Peroni is like the cheap beer in Italy. It's the beer that Italian students buy. I still think it's good. Bro, please make a search for Tutankhamun, Alexander, and Ptolemy Soter. Oh my god, there's a lot of names. If we were to remove the 1,000-year gap, the similarities are insane. This is very interesting. Very interesting. I mean, not that I would remove the 1,000 years gap, but it's an interesting item of conversation. Let me open my notes again, just because you guys bring so many things that I never touch on the notes. I think we did talk about most of these, though. Yeah, we talked about almost all the notes. That's very good, actually. It usually doesn't happen. There's only one left. We'll address it in a minute. What about a good plate of grits? Yeah, grits are good. I'll try to watch your Twitch more. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Joe. And I need to promote it more. I don't. Like, I very rarely mention it, but I don't really promote it much, and I need to start doing it because I think at first I didn't promote it because I really didn't believe that anything was going to happen. But there was an upsurge in subscriptions, and do keep in mind that on Twitch, a subscriber on YouTube is a follower on Twitch. A member on YouTube is a subscriber on Twitch. And there was an upsurge of subscribers, people either using their Prime subscription or actually deciding to pay to become subscribers. I had a lot of subscribers on Twitch last month. Not a lot in the sense of like when you compare me to huge streamers, then no. But for me, that I almost didn't have any. Now it's nice because it basically generates a little extra revenue that, you know, after I remove the taxes, I can use to buy games that then I play. So it's now become like a little self-sufficient mechanism for video games, which I thought it's nice. So I can buy things like Shadow of the Horned Rat for PlayStation. I do a lot of retro game, but I also do modern gaming. And yeah, there was an upsurge in a burst of subscriptions. So hopefully, you know, that will it would be nice if it started to organically grow within the system. But there is a lot of competition, I suppose. Sphinx War, thank you for the donation. Have you ever been interested in any Slavic history, or are you almost entirely focused on Western countries and ancient Rome? Interested? Yes. And also Slavic mythology and culture. But I've always when it comes to deep diving, Rome and Greece were my main medieval period, and then I started going into ancient Egypt. Pretty much that's that. Yeah. I appreciate that. Thank you for everyone who is saying that they're going to subscribe on Twitch. I really appreciate that. El Golafre says Syracuse, Sicily. What about it? Well, I'm not from there. I'm from Palermo, the other side. MA means New England mentioned. Ah, very cool. Allagash from Maine is a good beer brand, and if you are a cider man, Citizen Cider is good. But thank you for Duca, you're a Duke, for the suggestions. I appreciate that. And Peter K says, as someone that's into HEMA, have you seen the Armored MMA they have over there in the US? Awesome to watch. Yes, I have a few times. And I've also watched Buchert. I watched Full Contact Jousting. I enjoy watching that. And often when you compare it to real historical combat, and it is real combat, obviously, I respect that. I probably wouldn't last half a second with one of those people on a ring. But I'm saying, so I respect the courage and the skill. But oftentimes the armor that I see, for example, in Bohort is a lot thicker and it's more bulky when compared to the historical armor. And the level of padding that they put underneath is not coherent with the historical record. So once again, it's something that needs to be looked at slightly differently to the experience of wearing armor and going into combat, whether it be tourney or whether it be in jousting or whether it be actual field combat in the medieval period. There is a disconnect, even with like in MMA, I guess Battle of the Nations and all of that. But yeah. Joe Iga, thank you for the donation. Love your content. Have you ever seen the channel History Matters? He does small animated shorts. I haven't. Now, if they are only shorts, I don't like shorts, so probably not my thing. But if he does shorter full videos, but still long format, then I might watch it. Do you at least like tuna sushi? Yeah, but I prefer cooked tuna. That's the thing. I will eat it. If you give it to me, I'll eat it. But I prefer cooked tuna. Tuna sandwich with mayo, mixing mayo and tuna. Yeah, that's as long as the sea can feed me. Just one of those things. Do you think, asks Robo Armadillo, do you think the Roman Republic or Roman Empire was better? And which would you rather live in? What job would you like to have in ancient Rome? I think I always preferred the Roman Empire. But the Roman Republic was a very coherent, as long as it's the early empire. So late Republic, early empire is where I would like to live. And late empire is too corrupt. It's a mess. But so the dominate, it has to be the Principate. But yeah, the Roman Republic was interestingly, it has a lot of pluses, and a lot of people in the empire, particularly writers, lament the times of the earlier Republic even. So maybe from that, if some imperial people prefer lament the Republican times, who knows? Maybe those would be the best times. Hello, the wife is here.
Hello, I'm not gonna come on camera.
Oh, that's fine.
I look like poopy.
You look great. You always look great.
Well, thank you. You're so sweet.
Thank you.
It's very hot.
Oh, don't worry about it. Thank you very much.
Say, do you have a drink?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
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 Yeah.
You very hungry?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, chat. How are you doing? Okay, well.
You can if you want.
I look like.
You look great. Your hair is pulled. It's fine.
I know.
Look, your head is cut, so they don't see your hair. That's perfect.
Hi, chat.
Yeah.
How are you doing? I'm like, what's her name? The red lady with the red hair in Powerpuff Girls. The one that's always next to the mayor, but you can never see her. And I also have red hair, but
Yeah,
it's
you
pulled
do
up
have.
right now. But yeah, I forgot her name. My gosh, thank you so much for the super chats, you guys.
Thank you.
This-
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no. I wasn't gonna say anything. That's very nice.
Oh, it is very nice. They've been very generous,
Bryant
everyone.
became a guardian.
Hey, Bryant.
To guardian. Oh my goodness.
Thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate that.
Scroll down so I can see
Yeah.
what the people tell me who I look like.
Yeah, let's see.
What is that?
I don't know. Let me see.
Because someone's gonna know her name.
Yeah. Spice Sugar. Hey, wife.
Hi. What is it? How do you say that?
I don't know.
This one.
This?
Yeah.
Aristotle.
Oh yeah, Aristotle's. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello.
Thanks for the food.
Yeah.
Sarah Bellum.
That's her.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that's her. That's who I am right now. But I don't have the attire on. I don't look like an office siren right now.
Yeah. Of course, she got me pasta, guys.
I did. But how is everybody? How are we doing? Are we having a good night? Oh, thank you, Matt. That's really sweet.
Thank you. And let's see.
I hope I'm not screaming.
Oh, no. Plus, you're kind of far away from the microphone,
Okay.
so I think you're fine. But and we can see here.
Okay.
You're in the green.
Okay.
We've got the technology.
Oh, Chris said "Hail to the Queen." That's sweet.
Yeah. Likes olive oil. We all love olive oil.
Oh,
We use
yeah.
a lot of olive oil in this
Oh my
household.
God.
Tell them.
I can't even tell you how much olive oil that we actually go through. We use it like every single day.
Mm-hmm.
I want to. Oh, thank you for this one. Just came in.
Oh.
I think, unless.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Ivan.
Thank you, Ivan Hernandez. Would you ever consider making a video on the Holy Roman Empire?
Ooh.
Also, God bless everyone. God bless you, brother. Thank you. And yes, absolutely, it is a topic that I've been considering. Also, because there is a very fun statement that we could dissect and see if there is validity to it, that says the Holy Roman Empire wasn't holy, wasn't Roman, and wasn't an empire. And I thought it was pretty cool because it's a German. The only one that we could discuss a little bit is whether or not it was an empire, since it was so fragmented in all the different whatever. But yeah, the holy part as well. It's kind of fun to maybe discuss this, considering all the problems they had against the papacy. I think it could be a good video. I should make it.
Here, do you scroll down?
Yes.
So I can see all the
Absolutely.
all the new ones.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh yeah.
Jun Kazama says, "Does your wife have chrome on her nails? Pretty.
Yeah.
You should show."
Okay, so listen. There's this trend. Apparently, I saw this on TikTok, and it's called like navy blue chrome nails. So hold on. Can you see that? Yeah, it's literally just like navy blue, and then it has like a blue chrome on top of it. I feel like it's a lot, but I really do. I love the color, but I'm scared they're like too long. You want some navy blue chrome nails?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Adam. That's really nice. We should bring back the word rad. No one says rad anymore.
Yeah, rad is like old school, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like 90s old school.
I still say this to this day, and I've stopped saying it, but I used to say, "Oh, I'm so jazzed." And I used to say that all the time. People would be like, "Why are you saying that?" Hi. Oh, hi, Duca. Hi.
Hi, Duca. Thank you for the donation. And we've got Kilermus. I've watched for years. Appreciate your insight and attitude. You have helped me stoke my interest in Roman and medieval history. Cheers, most noble one. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Very, very generous of you.
Was that W?
The what, sorry?
Was that W?
No.
Oh.
No.
Oh.
No.
I forgot who Duca was.
No.
Yo, yeah. Listen. Sasquatch, is that who that was? Said that Raph should paint his nails. I've tried to get him to paint his nails so many
Nope,
times.
not gonna happen.
To be honest, I actually think it looks kind of cool on
Not
guys.
gonna happen.
Like obviously not like super long nails or whatever, but like I think it look kind of cool if like when people have like black nails or it's just a preference. I mean, I could take it or leave it. I don't really care. But I've always thought like it looks kind of cool on guys when they paint their nails.
I think people can do whatever they want with their freedom, and I will use my freedom to never paint my nails.
You don't have to paint your nails.
Don't fold, brother.
Don't fold. Okay.
Oh, that's funny. Very funny.
Ivan said no.
Yeah, no, it's not my thing, you know. I think people can do whatever they want. If they like it, I will never make fun of other people because I've got super long hair. It reaches my freaking waist. So I'm also a little eccentric.
So maybe the nails would be like too much.
No, the nails. I'm not doing the nails.
Okay.
I'm not doing the nails. No.
Oh yeah, Maxwell says goth. Yeah.
I mean, goth Metatron, I guess, but
You already are like heavy metal.
I am heavy metal. I am a metalhead. Yeah, I used to be a metalhead more than I am now in the way I dressed. But
William says black nails would be cool to go out like a vampire on Halloween.
yeah. Okay, for Halloween, yes. For Halloween, I can do it.
Oh my god.
If it's a vampire, then it's different for Halloween. Although I would rather be a zombie Roman soldier, to be honest. I think that would be a fantastic one. Could you imagine wearing the whole thing? That would be cool. Gothatron. The Gothatron. And also we've got people on Twitch. Metagoth. We've also got people on Twitch.
Oh my gosh, guys, on Twitch, I'm so sorry. I can't see the Twitch chat. It's very small.
Oh, sorry. No. It's yeah. I mean, yeah, it is a little smaller, I guess, but I can see it. And are you planning on doing more Pokemon packs opening? Yeah, that's a question for you.
Oh my god. So there's a new set. I feel like I'm just like a talking hand. Hey. There's a new set that came out recently, and it's in Japan. It came out in Japan recently, so it's still Japanese. I forgot what it's called. It's like Blaze Heat, like Eternal Blaze. I'm saying that wrong. Anyways, it just came out. I ordered a booster box of that, so we will be having a booster box of that unboxing on his third channel.
Absolutely, yeah. People loved it. And we filmed a video.
Oh, and I got to pre-order from Walmart, of all places, and I forgot that I actually was able to secure this pre-order. I got the Journey Together Elite Trainer box. So, that will also be unboxed. Sorry, I got excited.
No, it's fine. I'm eating in the meantime, so...
Yeah, Titan Bro says, paint your nails the Italian flag. Like one green, one white.
No, thank you. It was a good shot, mate.
Yeah.
Good shot, but no. And hello. A lot of hellos here on Twitch.
Yeah, and they're saying Miss Beldam? Or Miss Bellum, yeah.
Miss Bellum. Yeah. And how are we doing here? Your nails are so cute, says Maria Teresa.
Oh, thank you so
much. The blue nails. Yeah, I don't think she meant mine. I mean, let's see. What do you...
the talking hand's doing great. Thank you so much. It's
yeah,
my pet. It's like...
yeah, I mean, she's married to an Italian, so we got to, yeah, Metatron is rad, says St. Nicholas. Appreciate that. Who says lit? I think I do hear people saying lit occasionally.
I feel like I haven't said it in a little while, but I will say, I've started to say 8. I say 8 a lot now. Like, oh yeah, if I'm like reading a book, I'm like, oh yeah, this character 8.
Yeah.
And like I've never really been the one to say that, but I hear it on TikTok so much with like the Gen Z girlies, and I'm just like, yep, I've started saying it now.
It's also, I think, a matter of if a Gen Z says it, or someone close to Gen Z, but if a boomer starts using it, it looks kind of weird. Yeah. So I think people should stick to their own way of speaking.
Maybe you can stick to like one
generation gap.
And then it's okay.
Yeah, if it's like 5 difference, it's gonna be a little...
Yeah, if my dad said, oh yeah.
Could you imagine your dad?
No, like my dad be like, your mom ate at work today.
Or your dad talking about vibes.
Oh no.
Yeah, I mean...
No.
Yeah, I love your dad, but I can't imagine that. Robo Armadillo, thank you for the donation.
Oh, thank you so much.
I'd love to see more of the wife in your videos. Well, that's what I was going to say, actually. So she does appear more often on the third channel, and I've recently filmed a video that I think is really nice, where I'm showing her the computers of my youth. So Amiga 500 from 1987 and that kind of stuff, and then she needs to try and figure out how to use it because she didn't grow up with that. And... so that video is going to be posted on the 3rd, and then we do unboxings, and we should start playing games together, like a Diablo run together or something like that.
That's fine.
Or a Civilization game together, and on stream, like on Twitch. That's something we could start doing together. And then for the main, since because of the success of the I Civilized My Barbarian Wife, I think we need to do a new one. Peter K, thank you for the donation. Arguments are probably hand gestures mainly, yeah. At least on my part, but yeah, she's...
no, you Sicilians, though, or just Italians in general, have a lot of just regular hand
gestures.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like there's this one.
Yeah.
Like this.
Yeah.
You're not looking.
No, but I already know. I knew you were doing that one by the sound. That's Italian sophistication. I can recognize an Italian hand gesture through the sound.
Isn't there like a hand gesture for "se va bene"?
Yeah, but let me tell them. So this means I don't care, as a hand gesture in Italy. And then, this would be like, se va bene, so it's like, I don't believe you, or like you're exaggerating. This means money, or something expensive. We have quite a few. This means I'll beat you.
Oh.
Yeah. There are so many. This exists. We do use it, and it means like what you mean, what you want.
Yeah. And
more like what do you want.
With both hands, you're like.
Yeah. It's like what you want.
Thank you, LK, for the $10.
Thank you, LK. I really
nice.
appreciate it. Thank you. Very, very appreciated. Very cool.
Anyways, you guys, I'm going to go. I just wanted to bring you food.
I appreciate that. Thank you. It worked.
Okay. It worked.
Let me see. Yeah, it did work. I was just double checking that we didn't skip anything.
Okay.
Metatron since Starblazer. Metatron since you like historical fantasy. Have you played Age of Mythology? If so, what do you think of it?
Oh.
No, but I have to buy it because they made a remake recently. We saw it on the PlayStation because we play together. We're both gamers. We saw it on the PlayStation Store. Do you remember that?
Is it the one that Sean?
It's kind of like
playing?
no, that's Split.
Split something.
No, Age of Mythology is kind of like Age of Empires, but with mythology, so the gods and stuff.
Oh,
I would have to
yeah,
play it. I
that'd
would
be
love
cool.
it. Yeah. Yeah, I think I read all of these. That's
Okay,
good.
cool,
Yeah,
cool,
I was
cool,
just
cool.
double checking. And let me see.
Oh, thank you. What is that? Dreamer. Nope.
Where?
Dream here cat. Dream heart cat.
Dream Heart Cat. Yep.
Dream here.
Yeah.
Bye. Hope you have a great night.
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Or do you need me to still be here while you eat?
No, I'm fine.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you for the food.
Oh, anytime, love. Now that I'm going, you guys know how to say goodbye. I've told you. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Bye. All right. So where were we? Let me see. Yeah, no, we need to play more because we play together usually offline. We play like full-on civilization games when I'm always playing Rome or Greece, and sometimes she plays Greece. Like in Civ 6, she likes to play Gorgo. Bye. And yeah, so we could stream one of those games. Why not? In fact, I was teaching her Italian because she's learning Italian, and I was using Civilization to teach her Italian. So we would put it in Italian, and then she would try to read stuff, and I would translate it if needed. And then one thing we would do is like she started learning, like to say I go, vado, like andare is the verb. And so I would tell her, say where you're going, that you're going somewhere every time you move a unit. It's a good way to practice. What's funny is she ended up learning words like archers, arcieri. What did she learn? She learned like quite a few words that I'm like spadaccini, swordsman. I mean, not sure that's exactly the most useful thing to learn when you're still working, but she's doing well. She's doing great. Does she play Animal Crossing? She does. I be Rebecca, and so do I. I love Animal Crossing for Switch. You should see my island. It's I mean, you have it's basically organized like a Roman colony. But yeah, I do have it. We both love that. And then we visited each other's island because you can do that, right, with the online features with a little yellow plane, and it was nice. Cheesy congrats message, man. You did it. You got a great wife. I appreciate that, Duca. Thank you. I agree with you. I think it's good that it's not like necessary, but it does help when you have common hobbies, because the fact that we are both gamers, like she will spend, when she gets hooked into a game, she will spend 8 hours playing a video game that she loves. And so of course she never gives me trouble for that if I do it. I'm more of a hardcore gamer than her. Like she gets fixated on some games, and then sometimes she will go some time without playing. I play every single day, and I've been doing that since since my cousin gifted me an NES in 1980, whatever the heck. I was like 10. Well, no, I was 10, so it was really the early 90s, 1992. But I was playing other games before that because I was playing like the Spectrum, I was playing Commodore 64. So I've always played games, and it's like a daily thing for me. And I will do that until I'm dead. But she does play. So she knows when I'm like, oh, I got this new game, and she knows that I'm going to like jump into it. And besides, with Twitch, now I also have a justification to maybe insert it in an hour that it was or 2 hours that were supposed to be work. But if it's Twitch, I can do it, which is great. It's like living the life at that point. Goal accomplished. Cordoba goal, it's been a while since I've seen that hand gesture. Well, yeah. I mean, sure. Dreamheart asks on Twitch if you could perfectly restore, rebuild, or recreate any historical monument, structure, location, or device. What would it be? Well, device would be something that either we lost from Leonardo da Vinci or mostly from Archimedes. Yeah, like the stuff that he used during the sieges of Syracuse, the siege of Syracuse. I would love to see those devices. And structure or statue. Well, statue, maybe the statue of the one of the like well, maybe the statues of Octavian, the one that was beheaded. Would be nice to see the full statue because it was bronze, and I love full bronze. Because we have the marble one, we have the stone one in the Vatican. Although this one, let me Augusto di Prima Porta. It's one of my favorite statues. I'll show you. Augusto di Prima Porta. There it is. Let me share my screen. So this is one of my favorite statues, the l'Augusto di Prima Porta. What's really interesting about, we know that there was a counterpart in full bronze, and we have the head. So it would be nice to see a full bronze statue of Augustus. Still, what's interesting about this statue is that, number one, in period it wouldn't been fully painted, and here are some possible recreations of what it would have actually looked like. When it comes to the hair color, some people say that Octavian had blonde hair. I think Octavian, to translate the Latin, I've examined it. I think Emperor Octavian wasn't blonde, but he was a very light brown. Very light brown. So very close to blonde, but it would be like a dark blonde at that point, if you know what I mean. Because the Romans do have a Latin word for the Nordic blonde, and it's not the word that they use for this. The word they use for him is a subcategory of that blonde, which goes more into the darker side. So either that's my idea. And his eyes would have been green or gray, green or gray. And of course his skin, well, obviously, like a Roman Italian, basic, an Italian Roman. But this is what it would have most likely looked like, or maybe with a purple here. It's also a possibility. But one thing, I don't know if you know this, but it's a very interesting thing. The arm is not original. The arm fell at least 3 times. The original arm was not pointing. It was holding a spear. Spearhead on the ground. And this is interesting because sometimes some people use this, and I've seen people talking about the fascist salute and how they were saying that it was real in ancient Rome, whereby we have no reason. I think the fascists invented that. And they use this statue, even though it's so obvious that the hand gesture is different, but they do use this statue. There are articles, they use this statue to say, see, the Romans used the fascist salute. They did not. Also because this statue was holding a spear. It's interesting, isn't it, Fletcher? Like when you look at the history of the statue, it shows how important it is to really research even the history of an item like this before you make up. You create conclusions. You come to conclusions about what's representing. And this statue here is in Naples. No, this is Augustus Prima Porta. And I think it's a recreation. Isn't that because in Naples they have a recreation like this one as well. That looks really, really nice. But yeah, that's when it comes to the statues, I suppose. Thank you, Robo Armadillo. You've been very generous. For the setting, I'm writing for an RPG. I'm thinking of naming the party's guardian angel after you, Raffaello Jesus Urbani. Seems perfect for an angel. I appreciate that. Feel free to do it. Thank you. You have my permission 100%. Sorry. Yeah, some people might be confused by that, but my middle name is in Latin, and it's Jesus. Actually, the name of Jesus in Latin. The same that would be written on the cross, according to reports, when you have INRI, INRI, Jesus Nazarenus, Rex Judaeorum, would be the Latin. That's the same name. That's my middle name, yeah. So, Library of Alexandria, yeah, sure. I can see that. I think there is some discussion when it comes to the actual contents and how much, because often people might sometimes exaggerate the number of books and things that were inside that were lost. But yeah, I mean, it was still a treasure. But I think there has been some discussion on what was actually in there. Just like there has been discussion on the pyramids, for instance, and who built them. And I was reviewing some interesting data a couple of years ago. There was 3 years ago, maybe, there was showing that the idea that the pyramids were built by slaves has been ditched. they were most likely indentured servants and paid professionals, maybe with addition of some slaves, but they weren't entirely built by slaves. That's something that the academic position on has changed. That's what we used to think. That's what we used to see in the books. I'm sure that's something you have heard, that they weren't just built by slaves. Do you think Japan will take legal action against Ubisoft? No, I don't think it's going to go down to legal action, no. But I did hear, I don't know if it's true, but again, because when I hear someone say something, due to the culture war, I have to double check everything. But I heard someone saying that in a patch, they're going to remove the possibility of destroying the shrine, which if they do, good. They listened to the backlash, I guess. But one problem that I'm seeing with Ubisoft is there is a lot of censorship when it comes to reviews. Now, given if the review is full on harassment, I can understand. But just censoring your critiques is nonsense and it's egregious. And it's something that, once again, I'm not giving $1 to a company that is critiquing people that say, I don't like this video because this game because I don't think is as historical as Ubisoft says. You can't, if you censor that, then I am not going to support you anymore as a company because there's nothing wrong. It's not harassment. They're just sharing an opinion and there is nothing about it. So I think it really depends. Metatron, play some Chivalry too. Man, I haven't played Chivalry in such a long time. It's fun. I usually play as the crossbowman. I love playing as the crossbowman. It's my favorite class in that game. Notice me, Sensei. Hey, Abdul. Let's see. Timothy Davis, what are you doing with the spamming? My gosh. One second. I put you in timeout for now. Because I don't want to hide you because I don't know if he's trolling. So if he's trolling, I don't want to hide him because if I hide him, no one will ever see their comments ever again and I won't see their comments. But so I only do it in situations that are like really crazy because I don't touch comments, which is funny when people accuse me, you removed my comment. No, you wrote so much shit that the system decided to remove it automatically. Don't put it on me. I don't remove comments. Robo Armadillo, for the setting I'm writing for an... Oh yeah, I've already read that. Thank you. Thank you for the support, by the way. Let's see. There is an altar to the Lord in the land of Egypt. Really? Well, I guess. What were the other reconstructions between the first statue and the final replacement? I don't know what the hand looked like. I don't know if it looked exactly like this. I would imagine that this was what they went for. I mean, it's a cool pose when he's like pointing. It looks like he's addressing the crowds. In fact, the only thing we see sometimes with Roman generals is they do this. So the arm is flexed and they do this, which is a way to address the masses, to show them, to salute the masses. Generals do that. I think there is a statue of Aurelius, Marcus Aurelius, is it? Or is it Hadrian? One of the two. Maybe it's Aurelius. There's a statue of his when he's on horseback that does that. Now, if you look at the statue from underneath, it does look like a fascist salute, but it's not. You just have to look at it from the right perspective. Metatron, do you agree with vegan pizza as a concept? Yeah, I mean, why not? At the end of the day, in order for it to be vegan, for instance, a margherita is vegetarian friendly because it has no meat, but it does have mozzarella, so if you're a hardcore vegan, you can't eat it. But there are plenty of pizzas in Italy that don't use cheese. For instance, in Naples, the second most traditional, after margherita, the second most traditional pizza is called marinara. And basically it's just sauce and garlic with some oregano. And so that would be vegan friendly. So it already exists. Now, if you want to try and use some cheese or vegan alternatives on a pizza, hey, you do you. I'm gonna keep eating my mozzarella, but if you want, I guess why not? If someone is a vegan and they still want to enjoy something that resembles cheese, I have nothing against it. I say more power to you. Peter K. The hard thing with Italian is you think you know it, then you go in Italy, listen to young Italians and they speak so fast and shorten their words. The shortening of words depend on the region. Some regions do it more than others. Like Rome, Lazio, Abruzzo, which is like the region right next to Rome on the other side, and Campania tend to cut more than other regions. But so yeah, if you experience that, I would imagine you may have been somewhere there. When it comes to speaking fast, every language is spoken fast from the perspective of a foreigner because native speakers are naturally fluent. So there is a way to slow it down, and it's with a lot of listening and comprehension exercises that are specifically designed to train your brain to slow down the language in your head. And that will be part of chapter 8. I will give you all the instructions on the book that I'm going to publish in the next few weeks on how to learn and reach fluency in any given language. So I've done it. I've used those techniques not only on myself for Japanese, English. At this moment, even though English is my second language, you could speak as fast as you want. It wouldn't make a difference to me as long as I know the words. It's not a problem. And that's the same with my Japanese. With my Mandarin, I'm still not there. And sometimes speed could impede communication, but only if it's like with complex structures. If it's simple, then even if you speak extremely fast in Mandarin, I will still understand it. And so yeah, it kind of depends. I've used these techniques on me first, they worked, and then I used them on my students for 10 years, and I've had people that couldn't understand a word and then they passed a C1 test for through the when it comes to the framework of reference, European framework of reference, A1 to C2. And yeah, they did really well, and it wasn't easy. So it's overcomable, but it's a problem that occurs in all languages. Have you heard Japanese speak? I know Italians, we are very fast, and we are objectively a language that has a very high number of words per minute, syllables per minute, but still, Japanese is really fast as well. Oh, someone is asking, this is a PS1. Yeah, this is a PS1. Original. I like keeping it right next to me when I stream on Twitch. That's what I do. If I'm playing a PlayStation game, I put my console here. If it's a Super Nintendo game, I will put the game or the console on the side. I just like to create an atmosphere, I suppose, an artistic expression. Colossus of Rhodes, yeah. Man, that's amazing. Whenever I play the old school, the first Civilization allows you to build it. Well, maybe every Civilization does. For some reason, that one is the one that popped in my mind. You're playing Palworld. Yeah, I remember there was a whole controversy with Palworld and getting sued by Pokemon, right? I watched a couple of videos, but I'm really not into Pokemon. My wife is. And so she kind of followed this situation. I did a little bit. I watched Motaha speak about it. It is a Gen 1 PS1, yep. It's the fat one. I always prefer fat consoles, by the way. The only exception is because I've just bought the PlayStation 30th anniversary. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I think it looks really nice. I'll show you very quickly. Yeah, I posted it on my X account. So I'll just show you here. And so the PlayStation 30th anniversary collection, I think it's really nice. Usually I'm not into mid-gen. I don't buy mid-gen because I think they're a little, unless I don't have the original. Then yes, I do own a PS4 Pro because I didn't buy the original one. And so or better, I did buy it at one point. I sold it. I didn't have it. So I bought the PS4 Pro. But I'm usually not interested in mid-gen. And when they came up with the PlayStation 5 Pro, it was so stupidly priced and it was giving not enough. And so I'm like, not interested, no. But this, for someone who comes from this, the original PlayStation, then I looked at this and I love that the logo is the same. In fact, they should have never changed it. I love the original gray, one other thing that they shouldn't have changed. And so I did buy the slim version. The reason why I went for slim and not for pro is because pro is outrageously priced because of scalpers. It's limited edition. And it's impossible. I am not going to spend thousands of dollars, particularly after that situation that happened a few weeks ago. Is it a month now? With the MCN, and still looking into that situation, which, by the way, appears to be resolving. You guys made it happen. I think it's gonna be happening. So yeah, they dropped it. Most likely they dropped it, the whole situation. But still, I want to be careful anyways. So yeah, I did buy this also because I'll be honest. Technically, maybe I should have bought the Pro if it wasn't scalped at for like $3,000. They can keep it. But aesthetically, I like the Slim more in this case. Usually, I always prefer fat over slim. A PS3, I'll buy the fat every time, if anything, for the glossy surface. And same for this one. I like the old school one. But in this case, I actually like the Slim. I think it's more aesthetically pleasing. It has this little cut here. It still maintains all of the features. And at the end of the day, I'm going to sell my other PlayStation 5 once this arrives, because I don't need to have two. And they will be identical because the inside, the hardware, is the same as the regular PlayStation. The Slim is not underpowered, so I can sell that. And I think I'll sell it like as cheaply as possible, and I'll see if I can sell it to the community here, like between Twitch and the Protectorate, the gaming channel. I'll just put it there so that, you know, if you guys, it could be a good chance for you guys to buy a PS5 for cheap if maybe you wanted it but you couldn't afford it. And then again, I don't need to, but I really, really like it. Even the controller, I actually like the regular, the one on the right, as opposed to the Pro, because the Pro has got this black tab thing in the middle. I don't know what it's called, but it has like all the triangle and circle, but it's like too much. It's gaudy. So if someone gifted one to me, I wouldn't complain. It's still cool. But if I have to choose, I actually prefer the one on the right. Milanese, yeah, touchpad, thank you. Give it a few months and there'll be more legit stock and we can get it from retail. I hope so, Anonymous. But I mean, how far away are we from PS6 at that point? Still, I'm happy with this. I'm happy with my purchase, to be honest. I can't wait for it to... I think it's beautiful. At the end of the day, I'm really not paying for the Pro. I'm paying for the aesthetic. I like, and the nostalgia, and the collector item. So I don't really care about the upgrade. That's why I didn't buy the PS5 Pro. I didn't care about it. So at the end of the day, that's what I'm buying. Sony loves the scalpers and the artificial scarcity. I hate that. It's they should, first of all, I don't know, what would you do? How can you avoid scalpers? Because I mean, on one hand, you could say one account can only buy one console. But then again, if I am a collector and I have disposable income and I want to buy 5, but I'm not a scalper, why should I be penalized? I think people can choose to do whatever they want with their disposable income. But at the same time, and besides, they could circumvent that. But I hate bots. I hate when bots like buy 50 of these, like they did with the graphic card, the 5090. Ridiculous. It's a difficult situation. I don't know how they I guess don't do limited editions, but then again, limited edition is something that people do in the collecting market. Yeah, maybe they should ditch the limited edition. That's probably the solution, honestly. Just give people the product and leave it at that. Sell it with your autograph and mark it up to 100%. You know what I'm gonna do, Oddish? I'm gonna sell it with my autograph and sell it cheap. Anyways. That's what I'm gonna do. So at least whoever buys it, if they're from the channel, they're gonna be happy about it, but they they still get a good deal. That's what I'm gonna do. They'll do a PS5 100%. When you say there is no point for a PS6, there is. They'll sell it, and that's already a point. Personally, I like console. I'm a console guy before I'm a computer guy, anyways. Can it run KCD2? Yes, but it's not gonna look as good, and it's not gonna have the same resolution as what you could do with even my computer. I have a 4090, so yeah, obviously PC is superior, but not everyone can afford a 4090, and I think a PS5 Slim, yeah, should be able to run KCD2 100%. Yeah, you're saying that you can avoid scalper by producing more. I agree. They should ditch the limited edition thing. I agree. By the way, I had pasta with ragu. So basically bolognese sauce. That's what my wife made for me. It was nice. But yeah, let me check the super chat one last time before I go. Cauliflower crust is good for people who can't eat gluten like my dad. Also, sorry I'm late. Also, hi Raf. Hello Elizabeth. No problem. Yeah, I've seen it in the store. I've seen it in Publix, and I've seen it at, was it Kroger or Target? I don't remember, but I did see it. I don't know. I mean, I'll try. I'm very happy for your dad. I am very happy for your dad. Enjoy it. Add a little olive oil, extra virgin on top. But I don't know if I trust it for me. Of course, since I can eat the regular one, I mean, maybe I'll try it one day. But cauliflower crust does not sound appetizing to me. Even though I do like cauliflower, with a little olive oil and salt. That's the only thing I use to dress my salad and vegetables. By the way, olive oil and salt. That's all I need. Maybe I'll try it. Maybe I'll try it. And thank you for being a member for 7 months. I really appreciate that. All right, guys, I think this time we did a little extra. I think it's about time for me to go. We spend some time with the lovely wife and then play some video games. Why not? But yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate your help and your support as always. And I will have a great night, you too. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow, and hopefully we'll be able to stream a little more often. I'll make sure that I have a schedule, guys, and I'll post it. Check my banners on all my channels, because in the next few days, I'll update them with the days in which I post, although I post mostly every day, so the time, I guess, and when I go live. I'm just going to do it. Okay, I'm going to do it. Took me 12 years, but I'll do it. Thank you, guys. Good night. Ciao, ciao. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the generosity. Ciao. Ciao, ciao.